Welcome to Science While You Sleep. Before we begin this long journey together, I'd like you to take a moment just for yourself. Right now, you may be lying in bed, resting after a long day. Or perhaps you are sitting somewhere quiet, letting your thoughts drift. Wherever you are, whatever position you've chosen, allow yourself to notice how you feel in this exact moment. Are your eyes already heavy, ready to close? Or are you still gently awake, waiting for your mind to soften into the rhythm of rest? Take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. With every breath, the world outside begins to fade and your inner world starts to open. This video is not only a collection of fascinating stories and unknown facts about Earth, it's also an invitation. An invitation to slow down, to let go, and to discover the extraordinary within the ordinary. Think for a moment. When was the last time you truly wondered about our planet? We walk on its surface every day. We breathe its air, we drink its water. But how often do we pause and ask, what secrets does the Earth hold beneath our feet, above our heads, and deep within its oceans? Tonight, as you drift into sleep, we'll explore those secrets together. I want you to imagine that this is more than just a narration. Imagine you are stepping into a quiet library of the universe, where every whisper tells a story about the Earth. Some stories will be scientific, revealing astonishing facts about geology, biology, and space. Others will feel almost poetic, reminding us of the delicate beauty and mystery that surrounds us. You might find yourself surprised or even amazed at what you hear. Did you know that the Earth's magnetic poles are not fixed? They wander, slowly but surely, across the surface of our planet. Or that the deep ocean hides entire mountain ranges larger than the Himalayas, invisible to our eyes, yet shaping the planet's balance. These are the kinds of truths we'll uncover. But don't worry, you don't need to stay fully awake for every detail. This video is designed so that even if your eyelids close and you drift into dreams, your mind will continue to absorb the calmness of the journey. Some parts you may remember in the morning. Others will simply become part of the dreamlike atmosphere of your night. Both are perfectly fine. Let's take another deep breath together. Inhale, hold it for a moment, and slowly release. As your breathing finds its natural rhythm, allow your shoulders to sink into the bed or chair supporting you. Feel the weight of your body resting, safe and still, while your mind prepares to travel. So I ask you once again, where are you right now? Are you in a familiar room, surrounded by the comfort of your own home? Can you hear the quiet sounds around you, the faint hum of the night, or maybe the soft wind outside your window? Wherever you are connected to the Earth in countless ways. You are breathing the atmosphere that has taken billions of years to form. You are lying on a planet that orbits the sun at an incredible speed, though it feels motionless beneath you. You are part of a cosmic story that stretches far beyond what our senses usually notice. This is why we are here tonight. To reconnect with that story, not with urgency or stress, but with gentleness, with curiosity, with the slow rhythm of night over the next 3 hours. We'll travel through time and space back to the Earth's earliest days, into the depths of its oceans, across its vast continents, and outward into its place in the cosmos. You will hear about events that shaped life itself, mysteries that scientists are still trying to solve, and hidden wonders that make our world unique. And through it all, you'll be invited to relax, to let your body sink deeper into rest, to let your mind float like a quiet traveler, listening, dreaming, drifting. So, as we begin, I want you to set an intention, on a task or a goal, but a simple invitation. Tell yourself, I am here to rest, to listen, to dream, and to be reminded of the beauty of the world I live in. Feel how light that intention is. Nothing you have to achieve. Nothing you have to prove. Just being here is enough. Now close your eyes if you haven't already. Breathe slowly. And let's step into the hidden world of Earth, the unknown facts, the secret rhythms. The timeless beauty of our planet, our journey begins now. Asterisk, as you rest and listen. Imagine yourself drifting backward through time far beyond human history, beyond the rise of animals, plants, or even the first microbes. We are traveling more than 4.5 billion years into the past, to the moment when Earth itself was just being born. In the beginning, there was no blue planet, no oceans, no clouds, no continents. Instead, there was a swirling cloud of gas and dust orbiting around a newborn star or sun. Astronomers call this a protoplanetary disk, a vast and chaotic mixture of matter left over from the sun's creation. Out of this cosmic cloud, tiny grains of dust collided, stuck together, and slowly grew into larger and larger bodies. These collisions were constant and often violent, but they were also creative. Over countless years, these small rocky fragments came together, forming larger chunks that we now call planetesimals. The early solar system was anything but peaceful. Picture an endless sky filled with drifting rocks, colliding worlds, and streams of fiery debris. Earth was born in this chaos, forged through repeated impacts that added mass and heat to the growing planet. Each collision released tremendous energy, melting rock and metal, shaping a young world that glowed with molten fire. At first, Earth was not the calm, life-supporting planet we know. It was more like a hellish landscape, a ball of liquid rock constantly bombarded by asteroids and comets. Scientists believe that during this violent period, sometimes called the Hadeanian, Earth's surface was covered in a vast ocean of magma. Volcanoes roared, gases escaped into the air, and the planet's surface shifted endlessly under the pressure of heat and impact. But slowly, through time, order began to emerge from chaos. The heavy elements iron and nickel sank deep into Earth's interior, forming the core. This dense heart of the planet became the source of Earth's magnetic field, a shield that still protects us from the harmful radiation of space. Lighter elements such as silicon and oxygen floated upward, creating the early crust. And gases, steam, carbon dioxide, methane escaped into the sky, forming the very first version of our atmosphere. It is fascinating to imagine that this early atmosphere was nothing like the one you are breathing now. There was no oxygen, no safe air for humans or animals. Instead, it was a thick mixture of greenhouse gases, trapping heat and keeping the surface fiery. Yet, even in this harsh environment, the foundation of the world we know was being prepared. One of the most important events in Earth's birth came when a Mars-sized object, often called Day, collided with our young planet. This colossal impact was so powerful that it melted much of Earth's surface and blasted enormous amounts of rock into space. Over time, this debris came together, forming the Moon. The Moon has been orbiting Earth ever since, pulling on our oceans, guiding the tides, and influencing the rhythm of life. Without this ancient collision, the Earth would be very different today. As the millions of years passed, the magma ocean began to cool. Solid rock crust formed, creating the first continents, though they looked nothing like the continents we recognize now. At the same time, volcanic eruptions released huge amounts of gas and steam. Rain began to fall, cooling the surface further, and slowly the first oceans were born. Imagine the sound of those first drops of rain on molten rock, the beginning of Earth's water cycle, which continues to this very day. But Earth's youth was not yet calm. Asteroids and comets continued to strike the surface, delivering not only destruction, but also gifts. Many scientists believe that these ancient impacts brought essential ingredients for life water molecules, carbon compounds, and other building blocks that would one day become part of living cells. In this way, the chaos of the early solar system may have planted the seeds of life on Earth. Think about how remarkable this is. Every sip of water you drink may contain molecules that first arrived on Earth more than 4 billion years ago, carried by a comet or asteroid. The oceans themselves are a living memory of the planet's violent beginnings. As you breathe slowly now, imagine this young world molten, stormy, bombarded from space. Imagine the glowing surface cooling into rock, steam rising into thick clouds, and the first seas filling with ancient rain. Even in its earliest days, Earth was preparing to become a cradle of life, and as you drift deeper into relaxation, remember, this story is not just about the past. The atoms in your body, the oxygen in your lungs, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones were all shaped in those fiery beginnings. You are part of Earth's story, a living continuation of the planet's earliest years. Close your eyes if they are not closed already. Feel the calm of deep time, the comfort of knowing that our world has survived billions of years of storms, fire, and impacts. The Earth has endured all of this, and still, it carries you gently tonight as you rest. This is the first chapter in the long journey we will take together. The birth of Earth, a planet born from chaos, forged by fire, and destined to hold life. And now, as you breathe deeply, we prepare to move further into Earth's timeline. In the next part, we will follow the story into the cooling of the planet, the creation of its first atmosphere and oceans, and the extraordinary path that led toward the possibility of life. For now, simply rest, breathe, and let the image of a young, glowing Earth carry you toward sleep. Imagine the Earth again, not as the calm blue marble we know today, but as a restless, glowing sphere wrapped in smoke and molten fire. The surface was a battlefield of rock and flame. Huge chunks of the planet's crust shifted, cracked, and melted, releasing rivers of magma that spilled across the land. Volcanoes dominated the horizon, their eruptions shaking the ground and darkening the sky with thick plumes of ash. This was a world still under construction, constantly reshaping itself with every violent eruption and collision. And yet, hidden in this chaos, the foundations of something miraculous were being laid, the first steps toward water, oceans, and eventually, life itself. In the beginning, Earth's outer layer was not solid ground, but a vast magma ocean. The surface glowed red, like a liquid mirror reflecting the newborn sun. Over time, as the planet radiated heat into space, parts of this fiery ocean began to cool and harden. Islands of solid rock floated on the molten seas, slowly merging into the first fragments of continental crust. But the crust was fragile. Enormous asteroids still pounded Earth, tearing holes in its surface and sending molten rock splashing into the air. Each impact reshaped the young planet's face. Some impacts were so violent that they temporarily melted large regions of the crust back into magma, essentially resetting the clock. The Earth's first land was unstable, temporary, and constantly being remade. Around 4 billion years ago, Earth endured what scientists call the Late Heavy Bombardment. During this period, countless asteroids and comets crashed into the planet. These collisions left behind massive craters and scars, some of which still exist today, hidden under oceans or eroded mountains. To imagine this, think of a night sky filled not with twinkling stars, but with streaks of fire as giant rocks plunged through the atmosphere. The sound of impact would have been unimaginable explosions, louder than anything humanity has ever experienced. Each collision unleashed energy equal to millions of nuclear bombs, vaporizing rock, boiling oceans, and shaking the entire planet. And yet, from this chaos came something vital: water. Many scientists believe that icy comets and water-rich asteroids delivered the building blocks of our oceans during this bombardment. Each strike may have brought frozen water locked inside cosmic travelers, which melted upon impact and spread across the cooling surface of Earth. As the crust stabilized and volcanic activity began to release massive amounts of gas, Earth's atmosphere grew thicker. Volcanoes belched out carbon dioxide, nitrogen, methane, and, most importantly, water vapor. Thick clouds formed, and for the first time, rain fell on Earth. Not gentle showers, but endless storms that lasted millions of years. The skies opened, releasing torrential downpours that cooled the surface and filled the basins with water. Steam rose from the still hot ground, creating an endless cycle of evaporation and rainfall. Slowly, depressions in the crust collected these waters, giving birth to Earth's first true oceans. Picture standing on the edge of this primeval world, dark skies lit by constant lightning, the air heavy with the smell of sulfur, and rain hammering the ground without pause. Rivers carved through volcanic rock, carrying minerals into growing seas. Eventually, Earth was no longer just a world of fire and stone. It had become a world of water, with oceans spreading across the surface. Earth transformed into something truly unique in our solar system. From space, it would have finally begun to resemble the blue planet we know today. Water now covered most of the surface, regulating the planet's temperature and protecting it from extreme swings in heat and cold. These oceans weren't the peaceful turquoise waters of our modern world. They were boiling, acidic, and constantly stirred by underwater volcanoes. Yet, in their churning depths lay the chemical ingredients that would one day spark life. Iron, sulfur, and carbon dissolved into the seas, creating a chemical soup unlike anything else in the universe. It is humbling to think that the very same oceans you see when you look out over a coastline today trace their origins back to this violent beginning. Every wave that touches the shore carries with it a story billions of years old, a reminder that water is Earth's most ancient and precious inheritance. The story of early Earth is one of balance between two forces, fire and water. Volcanoes continued to erupt, spilling lava into the oceans, creating new land and releasing gases into the air. Meanwhile, water shaped the landscape, carving valleys and smoothing jagged rocks. Together, they created a cycle that would sustain the planet for billions of years. Fire forged new land, water cooled and sculpted it, and the atmosphere thickened to protect it. Earth was no longer just a sphere of molten rock, had become a living, breathing system preparing the stage for life itself. As the oceans expanded, Earth entered a new chapter. The atmosphere grew more complex, the surface stabilized, and within the deep waters, something extraordinary was about to happen. Tiny chemical reactions, invisible to the naked eye, were quietly at work laying the foundation for biology. But before life could rise, Earth had to endure more trials. The young sun burned hotter, radiation poured across the skies, and the planet's surface remained unstable. And yet, through all this, the oceans endured, serving as a protective cradle for the fragile beginnings of life. Asterisk, when the Earth had finally cooled enough to hold on to its vast oceans. Another silent transformation was beginning high above the surface. The thick blanket of gases that had been released by endless volcanic eruptions now swirled and spread across the planet, forming the first version of our atmosphere. But this early sky was nothing like the crisp blue dome we live under today. Instead, it was a haze of choking carbon dioxide, methane, and ammonia, mixed with clouds of steam and ash. The air would have been poisonous for us, a suffocating veil through which the sun shone dimly, casting the surface in a reddish glow. And yet, despite its hostility, this atmosphere was crucial. It trapped heat, preventing Earth from freezing entirely. It shielded the surface from some of the sun's dangerous radiation, and it kept water from evaporating too quickly back into space. The world had finally become stable enough for chemistry to take its next daring leap. Within the oceans, lightning storms flashed, striking the waves with furious energy. These bolts of electricity were not just destructive, they were catalysts. Each strike stirred the chemicals in the water, sparking reactions between carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, and oxygen. Over countless storms, these reactions produced simple organic molecules, the building blocks of life. Asterisk, imagine the scene. A boiling ocean surface, steam rising into heavy skies, endless lightning carving brilliant veins of light into the darkness. With every strike, invisible transformations took place in the water below. Amino acids, the seeds of proteins, formed. Simple sugars appeared. Fatty molecules capable of making primitive membranes assembled. To us, these may seem small, even insignificant. But in truth, they were the first whispers of something miraculous. For millions of years, these chemical reactions continued, adding layer upon layer of complexity to the ocean's contents. Tiny bubbles of fatty molecules trapped other compounds inside, creating miniature protocells. These weren't alive in the way we think of life today, but they were an extraordinary step forward. They had boundaries, they could hold on to energy, and they could change in response to their surroundings. Some survived longer than others, some broke apart quickly. And through this endless cycle of trial and error, the groundwork for the first living organisms was being laid. The sun, however, was not gentle. It poured out radiation that could destroy delicate molecules as soon as they formed. But the oceans themselves acted as protection. Deep below the surface, far from the deadly rays of ultraviolet light, molecules had a safe space to experiment, combine, and evolve. Volcanic vents on the seafloor released heat and minerals, creating pockets of energy-rich environments where reactions could happen faster. These vents may have been the cradles where life's first spark ignited. It is difficult to imagine now, billions of years later, what that moment must have been like, the crossing of a threshold when chemistry became biology. Somewhere, in some quiet pocket of the ocean, molecules combined in just the right way. They created a structure that could copy itself, an ancestor so simple we would barely recognize it as alive. And yet, from that fragile beginning, every plant, animal, and human would one day descend. Still, Earth was not a safe home. Asteroids continued to rain down, boiling oceans with their impacts. Entire regions of the planet were sterilized again and again. Life, if it had begun, may have been wiped out repeatedly, only to restart in the ocean's depths. It was resilience, not comfort, that defined these early years. The planet seemed determined to test its own creations, forcing them to adapt or disappear. And yet, over time, the atmosphere shifted. Volcanoes continued to release gases, but chemical reactions in the oceans began to trap carbon dioxide, slowly reducing its dominance. Nitrogen grew more abundant, becoming a stable background gas. Water vapor condensed and fell as endless rains, thinning the suffocating clouds. Though the air remained unbreathable to us, it was slowly moving toward balance. Through all this, the earliest microscopic organisms, tiny, simple cells, merged. They were nothing more than floating specks in the water, powered by chemistry we can barely replicate today. But they carried with them the most important trait of all, the ability to make copies of themselves. With each generation, tiny mistakes in copying led to variations, and those variations sometimes offered advantages. A cell that could hold energy more efficiently survived longer. A cell that was tougher could resist destruction. These differences, multiplied across countless cycles, set evolution in motion. From the fiery violence of Earth's first years, from skies filled with ash and oceans filled with lightning, life had somehow found its beginning. It was fragile, invisible, and still unimaginably simple, but it was there. And with it, the story of our world changed forever. The sun, however, was not gentle. It poured out radiation that could destroy delicate molecules as soon as they formed. But the oceans themselves acted as protection. Deep below the surface, far from the deadly rays of ultraviolet light, molecules had a safe space to experiment, combine, and evolve. Volcanic vents on the seafloor released heat and minerals, creating pockets of energy-rich environments where reactions could happen faster. These vents may have been the cradles where life's first spark ignited. it is difficult to imagine now. Billions of years later, what that moment must have been like the crossing of a threshold when chemistry became biology. Somewhere, in some quiet pocket of the ocean, molecules combined in just the right way. They created a structure that could copy itself, an ancestor so simple we would barely recognize it as alive. And yet, from that fragile beginning, every plant, animal, and human would one day descend. Still, Earth was not a safe home. Asteroids continued to rain down, boiling oceans with their impacts. Entire regions of the planet were sterilized again and again. Life, if it had begun, may have been wiped out repeatedly, only to restart in the ocean's depths. It was resilience, not comfort, that defined these early years. The planet seemed determined to test its own creations, forcing them to adapt or disappear. And yet, over time, the atmosphere shifted. Volcanoes continued to release gases, but chemical reactions in the oceans began to trap carbon dioxide, slowly reducing its dominance. Nitrogen grew more abundant, becoming a stable background gas. Water vapor condensed and fell as endless rains, thinning the suffocating clouds. Though the air remained unbreathable to us, it was slowly moving toward balance. Through all this, the earliest microscopic organisms, tiny, simple cells, merged. They were nothing more than floating specks in the water, powered by chemistry we can barely replicate today. But they carried with them the most important trait of all, the ability to make copies of themselves. With each generation, tiny mistakes in copying led to variations, and those variations sometimes offered advantages. A cell that could hold energy more efficiently survived longer. A cell that was tougher could resist destruction. These differences, multiplied across countless cycles, set evolution in motion. From the fiery violence of Earth's first years, from skies filled with ash and oceans filled with lightning, life had somehow found its beginning. It was fragile, invisible, and still unimaginably simple, but it was there. And with it, the story of our world changed forever. The sun, however, was not gentle. It poured out radiation that could destroy delicate molecules as soon as they formed. But the oceans themselves acted as protection. Deep below the surface, far from the deadly rays of ultraviolet light, molecules had a safe space to experiment, combine, and evolve. Volcanic vents on the seafloor released heat and minerals, creating pockets of energy-rich environments where reactions could happen faster. These vents may have been the cradles where life's first spark ignited. It is difficult to imagine now. Billions of years later, what that moment must have been like the crossing of a threshold when chemistry became biology. Somewhere, in some quiet pocket of the ocean, molecules combined in just the right way. They created a structure that could copy itself, an ancestor so simple we would barely recognize it as alive. And yet, from that fragile beginning, every plant, animal, and human would one day descend. Still, Earth was not a safe home. Asteroids continued to rain down, boiling oceans with their impacts. Entire regions of the planet were sterilized again and again. Life, if it had begun, may have been wiped out repeatedly, only to restart in the ocean's depths. It was resilience, not comfort, that defined these early years. The planet seemed determined to test its own creations, forcing them to adapt or disappear. And yet, over time, the atmosphere shifted. Volcanoes continued to release gases, but chemical reactions in the oceans began to trap carbon dioxide, slowly reducing its dominance. Nitrogen grew more abundant, becoming a stable background gas. Water vapor condensed and fell as endless rains, thinning the suffocating clouds. Though the air remained unbreathable to us, it was slowly moving toward balance. Through all this, the earliest microscopic organisms, simple cells, emerged. They were nothing more than floating specks in the water, powered by chemistry we can barely replicate today. But they carried with them the most important trait of all, the ability to make copies of themselves. With each generation, tiny mistakes in copying led to variations, and those variations sometimes offered advantages. A cell that could hold energy more efficiently survived longer. A cell that was tougher could resist destruction. These differences, multiplied across countless cycles, set evolution in motion, from the fiery violence of Earth's first years. From skies filled with ash and oceans filled with lightning, life had somehow found its beginning. It was fragile, invisible, and still unimaginably simple, but it was there. And with it, the story of our world changed forever. The sun, however, was not gentle. It poured out radiation that could destroy delicate molecules as soon as they formed. But the oceans themselves acted as protection. Deep below the surface, far from the deadly rays of ultraviolet light, molecules had a safe space to experiment, combine, and evolve. Volcanic vents on the seafloor released heat and minerals, creating pockets of energy-rich environments where reactions could happen faster. These vents may have been the cradles where life's first spark ignited. It is difficult to imagine now. Billions of years later, what that moment must have been like the crossing of a threshold when chemistry became biology. Somewhere, in some quiet pocket of the ocean, molecules combined in just the right way. They created a structure that could copy itself, an ancestor so simple we would barely recognize it as alive. And yet, from that fragile beginning, every plant, animal, and human would one day descend. Still, Earth was not a safe home. Asteroids continued to rain down, boiling oceans with their impacts. Entire regions of the planet were sterilized again and again. Life, if it had begun, may have been wiped out repeatedly, only to restart in the ocean's depths. It was resilience, not comfort, that defined these early years. The planet seemed determined to test its own creations, forcing them to adapt or disappear. And yet, over time, the atmosphere shifted. Volcanoes continued to release gases. But chemical reactions in the oceans began to trap carbon dioxide, slowly reducing its dominance. Nitrogen grew more abundant, becoming a stable background gas. Water vapor condensed and fell as endless rains, thinning the suffocating clouds. Though the air remained unbreathable to us, it was slowly moving toward balance. Through all this, the earliest microscopic organisms, simple cells, emerged. They were nothing more than floating specks in the water, powered by chemistry we can barely replicate today. But they carried with them the most important trait of all, the ability to make copies of themselves. With each generation, tiny mistakes in copying led to variations, and those variations sometimes offered advantages. A cell that could hold energy more efficiently survived longer. A cell that was tougher could resist destruction. These differences, multiplied across countless cycles, set evolution in motion, from the fiery violence of Earth's first years. From skies filled with ash and oceans filled with lightning, life had somehow found its beginning. It was fragile, invisible, and still unimaginably simple, but it was there. And with it, the story of our world changed forever. As you breathe slowly and let your body settle, imagine the ground beneath you. Solid, steady, and unmoving. We take this stability for granted, but the Earth's surface is anything but still. Deep below your feet, vast forces are always at work, shaping continents, building mountains, and tearing them down again. What feels like eternal stillness in your daily life is, in reality, a grand dance that has lasted billions of years. The story of geology is the story of time itself, written in stone. Every cliff, canyon, and mountain is a page in Earth's diary, a record of fire, water, and pressure. And when we learn to read these pages, we discover that the planet's surface is not simply a crust, it is alive with movement. This movement is guided by what scientists call plate tectonics. a slow but relentless shifting of giant slabs of rock that float on the semi-liquid mantle beneath them. Picture the continents not as fixed lands, but as travelers. They drift across the surface of the planet, pulled and pushed by forces we cannot see. Millions of years ago, the land you live on today might have been closer to the equator, or deep in the southern hemisphere, or even underwater. Continents have collided, broken apart, and reunited over and over again. Once, long ago, they were all part of a single vast landmass called Pangaea, surrounded by a mighty ocean. That supercontinent split apart, and the pieces began their long journey to the positions we recognize now. Even as you lie here tonight, the ground beneath you is moving. Though at a pace too slow for you to notice, just a few centimeters each year, like the growth of your fingernails. This slow motion gives rise to some of the Earth's greatest wonders. When continents collide, their edges crumple and rise, forming mountain ranges. The Himalayas, where Mount Everest reaches into the sky, were born when the Indian plate crashed into the Eurasian plate. Even now, the mountains are still rising, millimeter by millimeter, as the collision continues. In other places where plates pull apart, new land is created. At the bottom of the oceans, ridges stretch across the seafloor, where molten rock wells up, forming new crust. This is how the Atlantic Ocean grows wider each year. Though so slowly, we cannot feel it. And then there are the moments when these movements reveal their hidden power. Along plate boundaries, tension builds silently for years, decades, even centuries, until it suddenly releases in a burst of energy we know as an earthquake. In seconds, the ground shudders, mountains shift, and cities tremble. These quakes remind us that the Earth's surface is not unbreakable, but flexible, elastic, alive. The same forces that create beauty also bring destruction, shaping landscapes and reshaping human history. Volcanoes, too, are born of these forces. Deep within the Earth, molten rock gathers, pressured by heat and gas, until it finds a path upward. Sometimes this results in a gentle release of lava that flows across the land, hardening into new rock. Other times, the eruption is explosive, sending ash and fire into the sky, altering climates and covering entire regions in darkness. One of the most famous eruptions, Mount Vesuvius in Italy, buried the city of Pompeii under ash in the year 79 CE, preserving its streets and houses for us to discover centuries later. Yet volcanoes are not only destructive, they also create. The Hawaiian Islands, for example, rose from the ocean through countless eruptions, building lush green landscapes in the middle of the Pacific. Volcanoes bring nutrients to the soil, making it fertile. They release gases that shape the atmosphere. And in the distant past, they helped create the conditions necessary for life to flourish. As you imagine these forces, try to picture time on the scale of the Earth itself. A mountain range may seem eternal to us, but in the planet's memory, it is fleeting. Rocks rise, crumble, and are carried away by rivers to the sea. There, sediments settle in layers, one atop the other, pressed together by the weight of time until they harden into stone. These stones carry the fingerprints of the aegis fossils of ancient creatures. Ripple marks from vanished seas, even the ash of forgotten eruptions. To a geologist, each layer is a chapter, telling the story of worlds long gone. And when you hold a stone in your hand, you are holding more than just matter. You are holding memory. A piece of Earth's history that may be hundreds of millions or even billions of years old. That pebble, that grain of sand, once belonged to mountains, rivers, or oceans that no longer exist. Each is a fragment of a much greater story. Quiet yet powerful. The greatest wonder of all is perhaps the perspective geology gives us. It teaches us that change is the only constant. Continents move. Oceans shift. Mountains rise and fall. Volcanoes build and destroy. And yet, through it all, life continues. As you lie still tonight, the Earth is still moving under you. silently writing the next chapter in its story. Beneath the surface of the Earth, another world unfolds, one hidden from view yet full of wonder. Caverns and tunnels stretch deep into the crust, formed over millions of years by water, minerals, and the slow patience of time. Some caves are vast, stretching 4 kilometers beneath mountains, with ceilings high enough to feel like the sky itself. Stalactites hang like delicate icicles, dripping mineral-rich water, while stalagmites rise from the ground to meet them, forming natural columns that have taken tens of thousands of years to grow. These formations are quiet monuments to patience, sculpted drop by drop, imperceptibly shaping the underground landscape as water seeps through rock. It carries dissolved minerals with it, depositing them in hidden corners. Over centuries, it creates intricate crystal structures that sparkle when light reaches them, casting tiny rainbows in the darkness. Imagine walking through a cavern, your footsteps muffled by silence, and seeing these glimmers all around you, silent witnesses to the slow work of nature. Some crystals are enormous, larger than a human, grown in perfect isolation, their beauty untouched by the passage of time above. Even deeper, the Earth holds another kind of power, molten rivers of magma. While we often associate volcanic eruptions with surface lava, the mantle beneath us is a roiling, convecting layer of rock so hot it flows like liquid over immense spans of time. These hidden currents drive the movement of tectonic plates above the slow drift of continents, the opening of ocean basins, the rise of mountain ranges. From our perspective, these forces are invisible. But they are the engines of our world, shaping everything we see on the surface. Sometimes, the Earth's crust cracks, allowing glimpses into this molten heart. Lava flows, glowing red and orange, sweep across the land, cooling into new rock that will one day erode into soil. Each eruption, each fissure, tells a story of energy and renewal. The ground is never truly still. It is a living, breathing entity that grows, reshapes, and rebuilds itself constantly. In addition to the underground marvels, the collisions of continents create extraordinary phenomena. When 2 landmasses meet, the pressure can fold rocks into extraordinary shapes, forming ridges and folds that stretch for hundreds of kilometers. Mountains rise not as the result of sudden explosions, but through the slow compression and buckling of ancient rock. Valleys deepen, rivers carve their way through stone, and entire ecosystems are influenced by these geological sculptures. The land itself is a storybook written in stone, waiting to be read if one only takes the time to look. Even deserts and plains bear evidence of these hidden forces. Sand dunes migrate over time, not only sculpted by wind, but also by the erosion of rocks far away. River deltas slowly extend, depositing sediment carried from distant mountains. All of this movement reminds us that what seems permanent is, in geological terms, fleeting. Continents will rise and fall, oceans will dry up, and yet the Earth will continue to adapt, rebuild, and endure. Consider the formation of unique mineral treasures. Deep within the crust, extreme pressure and heat can transform ordinary rocks into gemstones, glittering with colors that capture the imagination. Diamonds, formed over hundreds of millions of years, rise from the mantle in volcanic pipes. Other minerals crystallize in hidden chambers, forming patterns of extraordinary complexity, each a record of temperature, pressure, and time. Holding a crystal or gemstone is like holding a story, a fragment of the Earth's deep history preserved in form and color. Geology also holds secrets of the past we cannot directly see. Fossils buried in sedimentary rock tell of creatures that lived long before humans, of oceans that covered lands now dry, and of forests that once flourished where deserts now stretch. Every canyon, every cliff face, every layer of rock is a window into the past. By studying them, we learn how climates shifted, how ice ages came and went, and how life responded to the slow rhythm of the planet. even as you lie still tonight. Imagine the earth beneath you as a dynamic, ever-changing landscape. Tectonic plates drift, magma flows, rivers carve valleys, and minerals crystallize in secret chambers. Mountains grow taller, then slowly crumble. Oceans fill, then recede. The world beneath our feet is alive with a slow, patient energy that has been at work for billions of years, shaping everything we know, everything we see, and even the air we breathe in this part of the journey. We glimpse the earth as more than land and water. It is a system of profound forces, of hidden wonders and silent marvels. The planet's surface is a canvas, continually painted and repainted by heat, pressure, water, and time. Every stone, every crystal, every mountain carries within it a memory of forces both gentle and violent, a record of the slow, majestic dance of geology. As the earth continued its slow, relentless transformation, it created landscapes that seem almost magical, places that capture the imagination and remind us of the planet's vast power. Picture soaring cliffs carved by millennia of wind and water, canyons so deep that sunlight barely reaches their floors, and waterfalls that tumble endlessly into hidden basins. Each of these formations is the result of patient forces acting over unimaginable stretches of time, a testament to the quiet yet unstoppable energy of our world. Rivers are among the Earth's most subtle sculptors. They wind and meander, cutting through rock, carrying sediments from mountains to the sea. Over millions of years, a river can carve valleys hundreds of meters deep, revealing layers of ancient rock-like pages in a history book. Imagine standing at the edge of such a canyon, the air still and quiet, the only sounds coming from distant echoes. You are witnessing the work of forces that began long before humans walked the planet. Forces that will continue long after we are gone. Deserts, too, tell their own geological stories. Dunes shift and ripple under the influence of wind, creating patterns that resemble ocean waves frozen in time. Beneath the sand lie fossils and ancient sediments, remnants of seas that existed millions of years ago. Some deserts hide enormous stone formations shaped by erosion into arches, towers, and otherworldly sculptures. They are silent monuments to the patient artistry of wind and water. Volcanoes remain one of the most dramatic examples of Earth's power. While their eruptions can be terrifying, they also give rise to some of the planet's most fertile landscapes. The soil surrounding volcanic regions is rich in minerals, supporting lush vegetation and thriving ecosystems. Islands like those of Hawaii and Iceland were born from repeated eruptions, each lava flow layering new land upon the old. Even long after the eruptions have ceased, the scars they leave on the landscape serve as reminders of the Earth's restless energy. Glaciers, slow-moving rivers of ice, are another force of transformation. They advance and retreat over centuries, carving mountains, shaping valleys, and leaving behind lakes and fjords. The surface of a glacier is deceptive, appearing serene and unchanging, but beneath it, immense pressure grinds rock and soil, reshaping the land in ways imperceptible to the human eye. Over time, glaciers have sculpted some of the most breathtaking landscapes on Earth, leaving behind a legacy of quiet majesty and monumental scale. Even beneath our feet, the Earth is filled with wonders. Underground rivers flow through caves, crystal formations shimmer in the dark, and hidden chambers hold minerals that have taken millions of years to crystallize. These subterranean marvels are silent, hidden worlds that few ever see, yet they reveal the patient, meticulous artistry of geological processes. Each drop of water, each movement of tectonic plates, contributes to the continuous creation and recreation of the planet. Mountains themselves are monuments to time and pressure. Rocks that were once buried deep within the earth are forced upward, folded and twisted into peaks that touch the sky. Over eons, wind and rain sculpt these peaks, smoothing some surfaces and carving jagged cliffs from others. The Himalayas, the Andes, the Rockies all tell stories of collisions between continents, of slow but inexorable forces lifting the Earth's crust toward the heavens. Even the ocean floor holds geological wonders. Hydrothermal vents spew mineral-rich water, supporting ecosystems completely independent of sunlight. Deep-sea trenches, the lowest points on the planet, are the result of one tectonic plate sliding beneath another, forming dramatic chasms that seem to plunge into infinity. Volcanoes rise from the seabed, some breaking the surface to form new islands. The hidden world beneath the waves is as dynamic and fascinating as anything on land, a reminder that our planet's surface is just the beginning of its story. All of these geological processes, mountains rising, rivers carving, glaciers grinding, volcanoes erupting, operate on timescales far beyond human comprehension. Yet together, they create the planet we call home, a world of endless beauty and complexity. Every stone, every crystal, every cliff and canyon is part of a grand narrative written over billions of years. To observe them, even in imagination, is to touch the deep history of Earth itself. And as you lie here, letting your mind drift, picture these processes unfolding quietly around you. Mountains form and crumble, rivers wind their way across continents, glaciers carve valleys, and volcanoes breathe fire into the sky. The planet is alive in its own way, a patient, persistent force shaping everything in its path. In this understanding, there is common awareness that the Earth has endured, adapted, and flourished long before us and will continue to do so long after. Tonight, as you close your eyes and sink into rest, imagine yourself part of this vast, moving world. The stones beneath you carry the memory of millennia. The air above contains the essence of countless transformations. And even the tiniest grain of sand holds a story older than you can comprehend. Geological wonders are all around us, a quiet reminder of the Earth's infinite patience, resilience, and beauty. Imagine lying quietly, feeling the gentle rhythm of your breath, and letting your mind drift to the vast, mysterious oceans that cover more than 2/3 of our planet. The surface may seem calm from above, but beneath the waves lies a world full of wonder, danger, and secrets that have remained hidden for millions of years. Oceans are the lungs of our planet, absorbing sunlight and carbon dioxide, generating the air we breathe and regulating the climate. They are alive in a way we often forget, teeming with life, energy, and mystery. Long before humans ever walked the Earth, oceans shaped the planet itself. They carved coastlines, transported sediments, and created habitats where life could flourish. The water is not just a passive medium. It is an active sculptor, eroding rocks, forming islands, and shaping continents over millennia. Consider the power of a single wave repeating its motion countless times, gradually wearing down cliffs, polishing stones, and leaving behind smooth sands on the shore. Multiply that by millions of years, and you can imagine the slow artistry that has created every bay, inlet, and sandy beach we know today. Beneath the surface, sunlight penetrates only so far, creating a world of light above and shadow below. The upper layers of the ocean are home to countless species, from microscopic plankton to enormous schools of fish. Plankton may seem insignificant, yet they are the foundation of the oceanic food chain and play a crucial role in regulating the planet's carbon levels. They generate oxygen through photosynthesis, just like the earliest microbes did billions of years ago, connecting the oceans directly to the air we breathe. But as we descend into the depths, the ocean becomes a place of mystery. Light diminishes, temperatures drop, and pressures rise to levels that would crush anything unadapted. And yet, life persists. Strange, luminous creatures float through the darkness, producing their own light in bioluminescent displays that seem almost magical. Some of these beings have evolved extraordinary adaptations, jaws that open impossibly wide, teeth that glint in the faint glow, bodies that are nearly transparent. and eyes that can detect the slightest flicker of movement in the deep. It is a world so alien that it feels more like another planet than a part of our own. The ocean floor itself is a landscape of extremes. Towering underwater mountains, called seamounts, rise from the abyss, some taller than Mount Everest if measured from base to peak. Submarine volcanoes erupt, sending plumes of molten rock and minerals into the water. Trenches, the deepest parts of the ocean, plunge miles below the surface, forming chasms so vast and silent that sunlight has never touched them. In these dark, crushing depths, life continues in forms both fragile and extraordinary. Each organism perfectly adapted to survive in a world of extremes. Currents weave a complex web through the oceans, transporting heat, nutrients, and organisms across thousands of miles. The Gulf Stream, for example, carries warm water from the tropics toward the poles, influencing climates across entire continents. Deep currents, often called the ocean's conveyor belt, slowly circulate cold, dense water around the globe, regulating temperatures and distributing life-sustaining nutrients. This immense, invisible machinery keeps the planet balanced, even as we drift unaware of its subtle work. Oceans also hold the planet's memory. Sediments on the seafloor record the history of climate, eruptions, and ice ages. Fossils embedded in these layers tell stories of creatures that lived millions of years ago, from massive whales to tiny plankton, revealing the evolution of life and the changing face of Earth. Even the water itself is a record, holding dissolved gases and elements that reflect conditions long before humans existed. Every wave, every current, carries a story, quietly written across the surface and deep below. And yet, despite all we know, oceans remain largely unexplored. More than 80% of the seafloor has never been mapped. Entire ecosystems remain hidden, waiting to be discovered. Each deep-sea expedition brings the possibility of uncovering species unknown to science, strange geological formations, or chemical reactions unlike anything on land. In this sense, the ocean is both familiar and alien, a reminder that Earth still holds secrets beyond our understanding as you imagine this vast aquatic world. Picture yourself floating silently in the calm upper layers, then descending gradually into darkness past the reach of sunlight. You drift past luminous jellyfish, massive schools of fish, and the ghostly silhouettes of creatures perfectly adapted to the cold, crushing pressure of the deep. Below you, mountains rise from the seabed, trenches plunge into darkness, and the water carries the whispers of currents that have traveled thousands of miles. The ocean is both serene and formidable, a living testament to the power, mystery, and beauty of our planet. Tonight, as you relax and let your mind wander, let the rhythm of the waves guide your thoughts. Picture the oceans in constant motion, reshaping coastlines, nurturing life, and storing the history of the Earth itself. In their depths lie stories older than any human memory, mysteries waiting patiently to be discovered. And just as the oceans endure, so too does life, adaptable, resilient, and ever-present, quietly thriving beneath the waves and reminding us of the extraordinary world we call home. As you drift further into thought, imagine descending deeper into the ocean, beyond the reach of sunlight, where darkness envelops everything and silence dominates. Here, life has adapted in extraordinary ways, evolving features that seem almost fantastical. Some creatures produce their own light, bioluminescence glowing like tiny lanterns in the pitch-black water. This light is not merely beautiful. It is used to lure prey, communicate, and even camouflage against faint traces of light from above. In these shadowed waters, survival demands ingenuity and patience, qualities that have defined life since its earliest beginnings. The pressure at these depths is immense, increasing with every meter of descent. Imagine the sensation if you were there, the water pressing in from all sides. A constant, invisible weight that would crush unprepared beings instantly. yet countless organisms thrive here. Some have flexible, almost gelatinous bodies that withstand the crushing force, while others are armored with hard exoskeletons. Their shapes are strange and alien, designed for a world that humans cannot naturally endure. Every adaptation tells a story of survival against the odds, a quiet marvel of evolution. Hydrothermal vents add another layer of wonder to this underwater realm. Found along mid-ocean ridges and volcanic areas, these vents spew mineral-rich, superheated water into the frigid ocean. Surrounding them are unique ecosystems entirely independent of sunlight. Tube worms, clams, and other extraordinary organisms flourish here, drawing energy from chemicals rather than light. These vent communities are some of the most extreme ecosystems on Earth, offering a glimpse into how life might exist on distant planets. Beneath alien oceans, consider also the deep trenches, where the ocean floor plunges into seemingly infinite darkness. The Mariana Trench, the deepest point known on Earth, reaches nearly 11 kilometers below the surface. At these depths, the water is near freezing and sunlight is non-existent. Yet, even here, life persists. Tiny shrimp-like creatures drift through the blackness, scavenging for food, while strange fish with enormous eyes or transparent bodies navigate the crushing pressure. These depths remind us that Earth's life is far more resilient than we often imagine, capable of thriving in conditions that seem impossible. Oceans are not just homes for mysterious creatures. They are dynamic theaters of physical forces. Currents, tides, and wave-shaped coastlines transport nutrients and regulate the planet's climate. Consider the phenomenon of upwelling, where deep, cold waters rise to the surface, bringing nutrient-rich sediments that support abundant life. These invisible forces connect distant regions, carrying plankton from one side of the globe to another, feeding entire ecosystems. The ocean is a vast network of movement and exchange, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all life. The surface of the ocean, too, holds marvels often overlooked. Giant waves, born from distant storms, can travel thousands of kilometers across the sea. Tsunamis, triggered by undersea earthquakes, carry unimaginable energy, reminding us that the ocean is powerful beyond our comprehension. And yet, the same waters provide nourishment, transport, and a sense of tranquility. Sailors, explorers, and scientists have long marveled at the duality of the sea, both gentle and unforgiving, both a cradle and a challenge for life. Even within familiar coastal waters, hidden wonders abound. Coral reefs, often called the rainforests of the sea, teem with diversity. Each coral polyp is tiny, yet together they create massive structures that provide shelter and sustenance for thousands of species. The colors, shapes, and interactions within a reef are astonishing, a complex symphony of life. These ecosystems are delicate, constantly responding to changes in temperature, chemistry, and human activity. Their existence is a testament to the intricate balance of life and environment, a fragile beauty that thrives quietly under the waves. And then there are the mysteries we have yet to uncover. Vast portions of the oceans remain unmapped, their depths unexplored. Who knows what giant creatures, strange formations, or unknown phenomena might exist in these uncharted realms? Each deep-sea expedition reveals wonders that challenge our imagination, from bioluminescent forests to giant squid navigating the darkness. The ocean is a living archive of secrets, a world as full of possibility today as it was millions of years ago. As you lie here, imagining these unseen worlds, allow yourself to drift with the currents. Picture the glowing creatures, the flowing currents, the hidden mountains and trenches, and the slow, patient work of nature sculpting the seafloor. The ocean is not merely water. It is a dynamic, living entity, a vast and mysterious partner in the story of Earth. Its depths hold answers to questions we have not yet asked, and its surface reflects the rhythm of the planet itself. Tonight, As you settle deeper into rest, let the calm darkness of the ocean soothe your mind. Picture waves rocking gently, currents flowing endlessly, and creatures moving silently in the deep. The ocean has existed for billions of years, enduring changes, shaping continents, and nurturing life. Its mysteries remind us of the beauty and complexity of the world, of how much lies beyond our perception, waiting quietly, patiently, for discovery. As we journey even deeper into the oceans, imagine a realm where light is all but absent, and pressure is so immense that it seems almost otherworldly. In these profound depths, creatures have adapted in ways that challenge our imagination. Some have enormous gaping jaws to seize any prey that drifts near, while others have bodies that are nearly transparent, allowing them to vanish into the darkness. Tiny, glowing appendages serve as beacons, luring unsuspecting victims or signaling mates in a silent, mysterious conversation. The deep sea is a world both alien and mesmerizing, a place where evolution has sculpted forms unlike anything on land. The sheer scale of the oceans adds to their mystique. Underwater mountains, taller than any peaks on land, rise from the abyss, forming seamounts that support entire ecosystems. These isolated islands of life are home to countless species, many still unknown to science. Around hydrothermal vents, entire communities thrive on chemicals, entirely independent of sunlight. Tube worms, clams, and strange crustaceans have evolved to survive in the scalding, mineral-rich waters. This life adapted to extremes reminds us that survival can flourish even in the harshest conditions. Vast trenches plunge miles below the ocean's surface, forming the deepest parts of our planet. The Mariana Trench, nearly 11 kilometers deep, is a place where sunlight never reaches and the water is near freezing. Yet even here, life finds a way. Creatures navigate the crushing pressure with delicate, flexible bodies. Tiny scavengers drift past massive unseen predators, each perfectly adapted to the extremes of this hidden world. The ocean's depths challenge our notions of life and resilience, revealing an adaptability that seems almost magical. Beyond the creatures, the ocean itself is a force of unimaginable energy. Currents weave a vast network across the globe, transporting heat, nutrients, and organisms over thousands of miles. Tides, influenced by the moon, orchestrate a rhythmic dance, moving water and shaping coastlines with patient persistence. Storms generate giant waves, capable of traveling across oceans, reshaping islands and delivering nutrients from one region to another. The ocean is both a nurturing and destructive force, quietly balancing ecosystems and climates across the planet. Some of the ocean's mysteries are even more subtle. The phenomenon of bioluminescence transforms darkness into a canvas of light. Tiny organisms, invisible individually, collectively create shimmering displays that ripple across the water. Fish, squid, and jellyfish produce flashes of light for hunting, defense, or communication. Imagine drifting among these glowing patterns, a silent witness to a spectacle both eerie and beautiful, a reminder of the hidden wonders that thrive beyond our ordinary perception, even closer to the surface. Coral reefs tell another story of life's resilience. Often called the rainforests of the sea, reefs teem with countless species, from tiny, colorful fish to massive corals forming intricate structures. Each reef is a microcosm of cooperation and survival, a delicate ecosystem constantly adjusting to temperature, salinity, and human impact. These vibrant underwater cities are a reminder that life thrives in interconnected communities, sustained by countless unseen interactions. Oceans also serve as the planet's memory, recording ancient climates, tides, and even asteroid impacts in layers of sediment. Fossils embedded in the seafloor reveal species long extinct, offering a window into the past. Ice ages, warming periods, and catastrophic events are all preserved beneath the waves, waiting for those who explore to uncover their secrets. Every wave, current, and deep-sea trench carries a story, written across the ocean and preserved in its depths. And yet, for all we know, much of the ocean remains unexplored. Vast regions are untouched by human eyes, holding creatures, minerals, and phenomena yet to be discovered. Each dive into the unknown could reveal a life form that defies imagination, a geological formation of immense scale, or chemical reactions unlike anything found on land. The ocean is an ever-present mystery, reminding us that our planet, for all its familiarity, still holds worlds beyond our comprehension. As you lie here, allowing your mind to drift into the quiet rhythm of these hidden oceans. Picture yourself floating silently among glowing jellyfish, beneath towering seamounts, past hydrothermal vents, and across deep trenches. Feel the currents gently move around you, carrying nutrients, heat, and life. The ocean is alive, not only as a body of water, but as a dynamic, breathing system that connects continents, nurtures life, and preserves the history of our world. Tonight, as you settle into rest, imagine yourself drifting in this vast, mysterious expanse. Let the darkness of the deep ocean, the gentle movement of currents, and the silent glow of bioluminescent creatures guide your thoughts. The oceans have existed for billions of years, enduring change, shaping life, and hiding secrets that continue to amaze. As you drift toward sleep, remember that this immense, mysterious world is part of the home we share, a reminder of Earth's beauty, resilience, and infinite wonder. As we reach the deepest and most hidden regions of the ocean, let your mind drift into a world rarely glimpsed by humans, a place of profound mystery and quiet wonder. Here, the ocean is both ancient and eternal, its depths holding stories from billions of years. The pressure is immense, light cannot reach, and temperatures vary from icy cold to the near-boiling waters of hydrothermal vents. Yet life persists in remarkable forms, each perfectly adapted to its environment, each quietly thriving in a world that seems entirely alien in these extreme depths. Bioluminescence transforms the darkness into a subtle, living display. Tiny creatures illuminate the black waters with flashes of light, some to lure prey, others to communicate, and still others simply to vanish into the shadows. Imagine drifting through these glowing corridors, where every flicker of light tells a story and every shadow hides a secret. The ocean here is alive in a way that is almost magical, a reminder that life is endlessly inventive and resilient. Hydrothermal vents continue to be a focal point of deep-sea life. Superheated water rich in minerals flows from the Earth's crust, supporting entire ecosystems that rely on chemical energy instead of sunlight. Tube worms, strange crustaceans, and unique mollusks form communities that thrive in this extreme environment. These vent ecosystems are not only fascinating but also ancient, providing insights into how life might have begun on Earth, and even how it could exist on other planets or moons with oceans beneath ice. Giant squid, deep-sea sharks, and other enormous creatures inhabit these remote regions. Rarely seen by humans, they glide silently through the darkness, hunting, feeding, and reproducing in a world that defies ordinary perception. The sheer size and adaptability of some of these beings are awe-inspiring. Even creatures we think of as ordinary often possess extraordinary features when viewed in the context of deep-sea survival. Extendable jaws, transparent bodies, and specialized sensory organs, capable of detecting the slightest vibration or movement in the water. The ocean floor itself is a landscape of dramatic extremes. Trenches descend miles below the surface. Volcanic ridges rise like undersea mountains, and vast plains stretch seemingly endlessly. Submarine landslides, shifting tectonic plates, and underwater eruptions constantly reshape this hidden terrain. It is a dynamic, ever-changing environment, where the forces of the Earth are visible not through fire and smoke, but through the slow, patient work of water, pressure, and rock. Oceans are not only mysterious, but also essential to life on land. They regulate climate, absorb carbon dioxide, and produce oxygen, connecting distant parts of the planet in a vast, living network. Warm and cold currents carry heat and nutrients across the globe, shaping weather patterns and supporting ecosystems both in water and on land. Without the quiet, patient work of oceans, life as we know it would not exist. They are the planet's lifeblood, a silent, flowing force sustaining the balance of our world. Even in shallow coastal waters, mysteries abound. Mangrove forests, salt marshes, and tidal pools host unique ecosystems, each intricately connected to the rhythms of tides and the cycles of the sun and moon. Seagrasses sway gently in the currents, providing food and shelter to countless species. Crabs, fish, and tiny invertebrates live in an interwoven network of life, each dependent on the delicate balance of these environments. Every element, from the smallest algae to the largest predator, contributes to the health and stability of the ocean. The ocean also acts as a historical archive. Sediments, ice-covered shelves, and deep trenches preserve the Earth's memory, recording the rise and fall of species, ancient climate shifts, and even catastrophic events like asteroid impacts or volcanic eruptions. Scientists studying these records uncover stories of survival, adaptation, and extinction, revealing the deep interconnectedness of life and the enduring resilience of the planet. Each sample, each fossil, is a window into a past that predates humanity, a reminder of the ocean's role as both witness and participant in Earth's story. As you lie quietly, letting the rhythm of your breath and the calm of night carry you deeper into relaxation, picture yourself drifting among these hidden worlds. Imagine glowing creatures illuminating dark waters, massive seamounts rising from the abyss, and the gentle flow of currents carrying life and nutrients across vast distances. Sense the quiet power of the ocean, a force that has existed for billions of years, shaping the Earth, nurturing life, and preserving mysteries that will continue to inspire and astonish. Tonight, as you sink further into rest, let the oceans cradle your imagination. Feel the gentle sway of currents, the quiet glow of bioluminescent creatures, and the immense patient power of this hidden world. The oceans endure, silently and ceaselessly, a reminder of the resilience, complexity, and beauty of our planet. As you drift towards sleep, remember that these mysterious waters, vast and largely unexplored, are a living part of the world you inhabit, a timeless companion to the quiet rhythm of your own life. As you lie back and let your mind settle, picture the vast sky above, stretching endlessly in every direction. The air you breathe, seemingly ordinary, is a dynamic mixture of gases, constantly moving, shifting, and interacting in ways that shape the world around you. Above the surface of the Earth, invisible forces are at work, orchestrating winds, clouds, storms, and phenomena that have fascinated humans for millennia. The atmosphere is alive, a living envelope that protects, nourishes, and astonishes us in equal measure. The Earth's climate is a remarkable balance of energy, motion, and life. Sunlight warms the planet, but unevenly, as the equator receives more direct rays than the poles. This imbalance drives winds and ocean currents, transferring heat from one region to another, creating the patterns of weather we experience daily. Imagine warm air rising in tropical regions, cool air sinking in polar areas, and the intricate dance of high and low pressure systems that governs rainfall, temperature, and storm formation. The atmosphere is not static. It is constantly in motion, a breathing, shifting system. Clouds are among the most familiar and yet most mysterious components of the atmosphere. Formed from tiny droplets of water or ice crystals, clouds drift across the sky, creating ever-changing patterns. Some clouds are soft and wispy, stretching like delicate brushstrokes, while others are towering, dramatic formations that carry the potential for thunder, lightning, and rain. Each cloud is a microcosm of the planet's hydrological cycle, capturing moisture, reflecting sunlight, and releasing water that sustains life on land. Picture yourself watching these clouds drift gently, knowing that within them are countless stories of transformation, movement, and balance. Storms, too, are extraordinary expressions of atmospheric energy. From gentle summer showers to powerful hurricanes, storms remind us of the raw power of nature. Hurricanes, known as cyclones or typhoons in different parts of the world, are vast systems of swirling wind and rain, fueled by the heat of tropical waters. They can span hundreds of miles, move at incredible speeds, and release energy equivalent to multiple atomic bombs. And yet, they are not merely destructive, they are a natural process, distributing heat, regulating temperature, and renewing ecosystems. Imagine the intricate, invisible forces that organize such a storm. A monumental orchestration of wind, water, and heat. Lightning is another atmospheric marvel, a sudden burst of energy that illuminates the sky. Each bolt is a discharge of millions of volts, a fleeting but intense phenomenon that has inspired awe and fear throughout human history. Thunder follows as the sound of rapidly expanding air, reminding us that even air itself can respond dramatically to the forces within it. Lightning shapes the chemistry of the atmosphere, produces nitrogen compounds that fertilize the soil, and sometimes even ignites fires that renew forests. In this way, it is both a destructive and creative force, a dramatic expression of the unseen energies that surround us. Atmospheric optics create visual spectacles that captivate our attention and imagination. Rainbows form when sunlight refracts through water droplets, splitting into vibrant colors that arc gracefully across the sky. Sundogs, halos, and glories appear under specific conditions, caused by the interaction of light with ice crystals in the atmosphere. These phenomena are subtle reminders that the air above us is not empty, it is full of interactions, particles, and energies that quietly shape our perception of the world. Imagine the sky as a living canvas, painted daily by forces both visible and invisible, rare and unusual. Weather events further illustrate the planet's complexity. Snow rollers, dust devils, and waterspouts are fleeting but fascinating occurrences, each the product of precise combinations of wind, temperature, and moisture. In deserts, heat can create shimmering mirages, optical illusions that bend reality and challenge the senses. In polar regions, katabatic winds cold, dense air rushing down slopes can reach incredible speeds, shaping snowdrifts and ice formations in their path. The atmosphere, in all its forms, is a constant source of wonder, a dynamic system both powerful and delicate. And then there are phenomena that border on the mysterious. Ball lightning, for example, is a rare and poorly understood form of electrical discharge, sometimes observed as glowing spheres moving through the air during storms. Sprites, blue jets, and elves are transient upper atmospheric phenomena, luminous bursts high above thunderstorms, barely glimpsed by human eyes, yet captured in photographs and recordings. These events remind us that the atmosphere is a frontier, filled with hidden surprises that continue to elude complete understanding as you lie quietly, allowing your mind to wander through these atmospheric wonders. Picture yourself beneath the sky, alive with motion and energy. Feel the gentle touch of a breeze. Imagine the distant rumble of thunder. Watch clouds drift lazily across a pale evening sky. The air above is not just space. It is a complex, living system, a partner in the story of Earth, silently influencing the weather, climate, and life all around you. Tonight, as you settle into rest, let the calm awareness of the atmosphere guide your thoughts. Consider the clouds, storms, lightning, and rare phenomena as reminders of the planet's beauty, power, and complexity. The atmosphere endures, tirelessly moving, shaping, and sustaining life. As you drift toward sleep, imagine yourself floating lightly on the winds, carried gently by currents of air, enveloped by the mysteries and wonders of Earth's sky. As you continue to lie quietly, imagine the Earth's climate system as a vast, interconnected network, constantly shifting and moving. Air, water, and energy circulate in a delicate balance, shaping every environment on the planet. Winds travel across continents, carrying heat and moisture, while ocean currents, invisible yet powerful, transport warmth from the tropics to the poles. These movements create the climates we are familiar with: tropical, temperate, polar, but also rare. Extreme weather events that remind us of the power and complexity of nature. Jet streams are one such hidden force. High-speed rivers of air flowing thousands of miles around the globe. Invisible to the eye, these streams shape weather patterns, influence storms, and even guide the paths of migrating birds. Imagine a narrow ribbon of wind moving at hundreds of kilometers per hour, twisting and turning above the earth, unseen but profoundly shaping life below. These atmospheric highways are a reminder that much of the power shaping our world is subtle. Moving silently above our heads, extreme weather events demonstrate both the beauty and the danger of our climate. Tornadoes, with their swirling columns of air, form under precise conditions, capable of tremendous destruction, yet fascinating in their complexity. Hurricanes and typhoons, born from warm tropical waters, can grow to immense sizes, spiraling over oceans, carrying torrential rains and reshaping coastlines. Even smaller phenomena, such as hailstorms, can produce unique patterns and remarkable displays, reminding us that weather is both unpredictable and endlessly creative. The Earth's poles reveal another layer of climatic mystery. In the Arctic and Antarctic, fierce winds and frigid temperatures sculpt glaciers, snowdrifts, and icebergs. Katabatic wind stems, cold air rushing down slopes, can reach extraordinary speeds, pushing snow and ice across the frozen landscapes. Despite the harsh conditions, life persists in these regions, adapted to extremes that humans can barely endure. Penguins, polar bears, seals, and tiny microorganisms thrive in ways that reveal the resilience and ingenuity of life. Volcanoes play a significant role in atmospheric and climatic dynamics. When a volcano erupts, it releases ash gases and heat into the atmosphere, sometimes influencing global climate for years. Sulfur dioxide can create temporary cooling effects, while ash clouds drift thousands of kilometers, coloring sunsets and reducing sunlight. These eruptions are dramatic reminders of the Earth's energy, a force that shapes both landscapes and the atmosphere in ways both immediate and long-lasting. Rainfall is another marvel of the climate system. It may appear simpler, gentle shower, or a heavy downpour, but it is the result of countless interactions among air, water, temperature, and geography. Orographic rainfall, for example, occurs when moist air rises over mountains, cooling and condensing into rain, nourishing valleys and forests below. Monsoons, seasonal winds bringing heavy rains to vast regions, support agriculture and life, but can also bring devastating floods. Each drop of rain is a product of the planet's complex atmospheric choreography, a reminder that even small elements are part of an immense system. Thunderstorms are miniatures of this atmospheric power, forming when warm, moist air rises rapidly, creating towering clouds and turbulent winds. Lightning, a spectacular discharge of energy, illuminates the sky for brief moments, accompanied by thunder, the sound of air expanding explosively. Even as you imagine the storm from a safe distance, consider the invisible processes at play: temperature differences, moisture content, air pressure, and the dynamic movement of currents, all interacting to create a phenomenon that is both beautiful and formidable. Rare and unusual phenomena often occur in the atmosphere, invisible to most observers. Ball lightning, elusive and mysterious, appears as glowing spheres during storms. Sprites, blue jets, and elves high altitude, electrical discharges occur above thunderclouds, fleeting and ethereal, challenging scientists to fully understand them. Even auroras, the northern and southern lights, reveal the interaction between solar particles and the Earth's magnetic field, creating dazzling displays of color across polar skies. These events are gentle reminders that the atmosphere is full of wonders beyond our everyday perception. As you lie quietly, drifting into this imaginary world of skies and storms, picture yourself floating above continents and oceans, observing the patterns of clouds, currents, and winds. Feel the gentle tug of air movement, sense the distant rumble of thunderstorms, and watch auroras shimmer across polar regions. The atmosphere is alive, a vast and intricate system connecting all life, shaping climates, and creating wonders that both awe and comfort. Tonight, as you sink deeper into relaxation, let the knowledge of these atmospheric marvels guide your thoughts. Imagine yourself carried gently by invisible currents, drifting past clouds, storms, and dazzling light displays. The atmosphere endures, tirelessly moving, shaping, and sustaining life, quietly working as a guardian and artist of our planet. As you drift towards sleep, remember that this vast, dynamic system is an unseen companion, supporting every breath, every moment, and every dream. As you continue to rest and let your mind wander, picture the most extreme and fascinating corners of our climate system, where weather and atmosphere combine to create phenomena, both beautiful and powerful. In deserts, the sun beats down relentlessly, creating mirages that shimmer on the horizon. These optical illusions are caused by layers of air at different temperatures, bending light and creating the impression of water or distant objects. Imagine standing quietly in the heat, watching these illusions flicker and fade, a subtle reminder of the mysterious forces shaping the air around you. Deserts are also home to rare wind formations, such as dust devils, miniature tornadoes that spiral across the land, lifting sand and debris. These tiny whirlwinds, often only a few meters wide, are natural expressions of convection, the movement of hot air rising and cool air descending. While they are small and fleeting, dust devils hint at the power of air and heat to create movement, shaping landscapes over time. Across the world, from arid deserts to icy polar regions, the planet demonstrates its endless capacity to surprise. In polar regions, winds and ice interact in extraordinary ways. Katabatic winds, dense cold air flowing downhill from ice sheets, can reach speeds of hundreds of kilometers per hour, carving snow and ice into unusual formations. Blizzards, fueled by these winds and moisture from nearby oceans, can blanket landscapes in white, sculpting drifts and shaping frozen terrain. Even in these harsh conditions, life adapts. Polar bears, penguins, seals, and microscopic algae survive, demonstrating the resilience of living beings under extreme pressure and temperature. Volcanic eruptions can influence climate far beyond their immediate surroundings. Ash clouds can drift thousands of kilometers, reducing sunlight and temporarily cooling the atmosphere. Volcanic gases, such as sulfur dioxide, can create colorful sunsets, reflecting light in ways that paint the sky in surreal hues. Sometimes, these eruptions trigger longer-term climatic effects, subtly altering rainfall patterns and temperatures for months or even years. In this way, the Earth itself becomes an active participant in shaping the atmosphere, linking fire, air, and water in a vast, extended, interconnected system. Ocean-atmosphere interactions further demonstrate the complexity of climate. El Niño and La Niña events resulting from changes in ocean temperatures influence weather patterns around the globe. These phenomena can bring floods, droughts, or storms to regions far from their origin, illustrating the intricate connectivity of Earth's systems. Imagine warm Pacific waters slowly shifting, altering winds, clouds, and rainfall thousands of kilometers away. The subtle movement of water, temperature, and air has profound effects, reminding us that the planet is a network of endless interactions. Lightning, tornadoes, and hurricanes are among the most dramatic expressions of atmospheric power. Lightning illuminates the sky with a brilliant, almost artistic flash, a reminder of the raw energy moving through the air. Tornadoes twist violently, a concentrated display of energy and motion, while hurricanes spiral across oceans, vast and mesmerizing in their complexity. Each event is a manifestation of the forces that shape our world, combining heat, moisture, and movement in patterns both predictable and surprising. Even gentle weather events have layers of complexity. Rainfall, snow, and fog each tell stories about the interaction of air, temperature, and moisture. Dew forms when warm air cools overnight, condensing on surfaces while fog drifts silently, hiding and revealing the landscape in ethereal patterns. Every subtle shift in the atmosphere, from the tiniest breeze to a sweeping storm, reflects the constant, dynamic motion that sustains life on Earth. Rare atmospheric phenomena continue to astonish. Auroras dance across polar skies, colored by particles from the sun interacting with Earth's magnetic field. Sprites, blue jets, and elves' high-altitude discharges of electricity flash above thunderstorms. Nearly invisible, but captured in scientific recordings. Even halos and sundogs appear when sunlight interacts with ice crystals, creating mystical displays. These events remind us that the sky is alive with energy, a place where science and wonder meet, quietly influencing life below as you drift deeper into relaxation. Picture yourself floating above continents and oceans, observing the intricate patterns of air and water. Watch hurricanes spin slowly over tropical seas, lightning crackle across distant skies, and auroras shimmer in polar regions. Feel the gentle touch of winds, the subtle shifts in temperature, and the quiet flow of air currents carrying energy, moisture, and life across the planet. The atmosphere is a vast, dynamic system, a living network connecting every corner of the Earth. Tonight, as you sink further into rest, let your mind absorb the quiet majesty of these atmospheric wonders. Imagine yourself carried gently by invisible currents, floating above storms and deserts, drifting past mountains and oceans. The climate and atmosphere endure, tirelessly moving, shaping, and sustaining life. Let the rhythm of air, the dance of clouds, and the subtle shifts of weather guide your thoughts as you drift toward sleep, enveloped in the quiet power and beauty of our living planet. As you continue to lie quietly, imagine the grand interconnectedness of the Earth's atmosphere and climate, stretching from the deepest valleys to the highest peaks and beyond to the clouds above. Every breath you take is a reminder of this living system, a mixture of gases ever-changing and circulating around the globe. High above, winds flow unseen, yet profoundly shaping the world below, carrying moisture, regulating temperature, and connecting continents in invisible threads of energy. Extreme and rare weather events remind us of the incredible forces at play. Hurricanes, massive swirling storms born from warm tropical waters, release energy equivalent to many nuclear explosions. Yet they also serve essential roles in redistributing heat and moisture. Tornadoes twist violently across plains, tiny in scale but immense in energy, demonstrating the raw power of atmospheric conditions. Even the smallest phenomena, like hail or snow flurries, result from intricate balances of temperature, pressure, and moisture, showing that every detail of weather is part of a larger, delicate system. The oceans and atmosphere constantly interact, creating dynamic patterns across the planet. El Niño and La Niña, subtle shifts in Pacific Ocean temperatures, can transform global climates, triggering floods, droughts, or unusually calm seasons in distant regions. These events illustrate that no part of the Earth exists in isolation. A change in one region can ripple across thousands of miles, reminding us that the planet operates as a single, interconnected organism, where air, water, and land work together in harmony and tension. Polar regions add to the atmosphere's mysteries, In the Arctic and Antarctic, icy landscapes interact with sunlight and air currents to shape local and global climate. Winds sweep over ice sheets, forming katabatic gusts that reshape snow and ice, while blizzards test the resilience of life. Even in these extreme conditions, organisms survive, from penguins navigating frozen seas to microscopic algae thriving beneath the ice, illustrating that life persists under the most severe circumstances. The atmosphere above these regions is active, creating shimmering auroras, rare light phenomena, and subtle changes that affect the Earth far beyond the poles. Volcanic eruptions are another way that Earth's forces influence climate. Ash and gases propelled high into the atmosphere can drift thousands of kilometers, creating spectacular sunsets and even temporarily cooling the planet. Sulfur dioxide reacts with moisture, forming tiny droplets that reflect sunlight, subtly changing temperatures. These eruptions remind us that the planet itself is a living system where fire, water, and air interact to shape both immediate landscapes and global atmospheric conditions. Rare and subtle phenomena continue to inspire no. Ball lightning, for example, appears as glowing spheres during storms, fleeting and mysterious. Sprites, blue jets, and elves. High-altitude electrical discharges occur above thunderstorms, nearly invisible yet captured in scientific observations. Halos and sundogs form when light interacts with ice crystals, creating surreal visual effects in the sky. These occurrences, some rare and some more frequent, remind us that the atmosphere is alive with energy, constantly shaping our experience of the world even when unseen. Even the calmest weather carries stories of atmospheric complexity. Gentle breezes move leaves, clouds drift lazily across the sky, and dew forms silently in the night. Fog rolls over valleys, hiding and revealing the landscape in ethereal patterns. Each movement of air, each subtle change in temperature or moisture, is part of a vast, scrapped, interconnected system that sustains life and preserves balance. Every breath, every ripple of wind, is a reminder of the quiet yet profound forces that surround us as you drift deeper into relaxation. Picture yourself floating high above the Earth, carried by invisible winds, observing clouds, storms, and auroras shimmering across polar skies. Imagine hurricanes spinning slowly over tropical waters, tornadoes twisting in distant plains, and auroras painting the night with silent light. Sense the subtle currents of air moving around the planet, carrying energy, moisture, and life in a delicate yet unstoppable rhythm. The atmosphere is alive, endlessly moving, shaping, and sustaining every corner of our world. Tonight, as you sink further into rest, allow the calm knowledge of these atmospheric wonders to guide your mind. Picture yourself gently drifting with the winds, carried above oceans, mountains, deserts, and icy poles, surrounded by the quiet beauty and immense power of the Earth's living system. The atmosphere endures, tirelessly circulating and connecting, a silent companion that nurtures, protects, and astonishes. As you drift toward sleep, let the rhythms of wind, cloud, and weather envelop your thoughts, offering comfort, wonder, and the infinite mystery of our living planet. As you lie back and let your mind settle, imagine stepping into the quiet, ancient world of forests. The air is rich with the scent of damp earth and leaves, carrying the gentle whispers of life in every direction. Forests are more than a collection of trees. They are living, breathing systems full of hidden complexity, subtle interactions, and endless surprises. Picture yourself walking slowly through a grove, each step cushioned by moss and fallen leaves, your senses attuned to the quiet harmony surrounding you. The oldest trees on Earth are silent witnesses to millennia of change. Ancient redwoods and bristlecone pines have endured thousands of years, witnessing the rise and fall of continents, the shifting of climates, and the ebb and flow of life across the planet. Their massive trunks, gnarled branches, and intricate root systems store memories of the Earth itself, preserving a history that stretches far beyond human existence. Imagine the patience and resilience of these giants, standing quietly as time flows around them. Beneath the canopy, a hidden world thrives. Ferns, mosses, and tiny plants carpet the forest floor, forming delicate networks that support insects, small mammals, and the roots of towering trees above. Fungi, often overlooked, form intricate underground connections known as mycorrhizal networks, linking trees and plants in a vast web of nutrient exchange. Some researchers call these networks the Wood Wide Web, highlighting the profound ways plants communicate and support each other. Picture yourself sitting quietly, aware of this hidden network, sensing the subtle life moving beneath your feet. Rainforests are perhaps the most extraordinary expressions of plant life. Towering trees compete for sunlight, their crowns forming dense canopies that filter light into a mosaic of greens below. Lianas and vines twist around trunks, connecting trees in elaborate structures that seem almost architectural. Orchids, bromeliads, and countless flowering plants add bursts of color, each adapted to a specific niche, pollinator, or microclimate. Imagine the symphony of growth, competition, and cooperation occurring silently, creating a living tapestry that is both ancient and constantly renewing itself. Some forests reveal unusual and unique adaptations. In cloud forests, for instance, mist and constant humidity nourish moss-covered trees, epophytes, and ferns, creating a world where life clings and climbs in intricate forms. Mangrove forests along coastlines adapt to saltwater, tidal fluctuations, and shifting soils, their complex root systems stabilizing shorelines and providing shelter for countless species. Each forest type is a demonstration of life's adaptability, ingenuity, and resilience in the face of environmental challenges. Trees themselves possess remarkable survival strategies. Some produce chemicals to deter herbivores or prevent disease. Others communicate stress through airborne signals or chemical compounds, alerting neighboring plants to potential danger. Seasonal changes, such as leaf shedding in temperate forests, are carefully timed to conserve energy and optimize growth. Even the growth patterns of branches and roots are influenced by light, water, and soil nutrients, creating shapes that are functional, efficient, and often breathtakingly beautiful. Forest floors are alive with subtle rhythms. Leaf litter decomposes slowly, releasing nutrients that sustain the ecosystem. Insects burrow, fungi spread, and small mammals forage, all forming a delicate balance that sustains the larger trees and plants. Streams meander quietly through forested valleys, their waters carrying nutrients and providing habitats for amphibians, fish, and insects. Every element, no matter how small, plays a crucial role in maintaining the health and longevity of the forest. In tropical forests, biodiversity reaches extraordinary levels. Thousands of plant species coexist, each with specialized adaptations. From leaves that capture water efficiently to flowers designed to attract specific pollinators. The interactions among plants, insects, birds, and mammals create a dynamic, living network, where survival depends on cooperation, competition, and subtle balances. Imagine observing a single flowering tree, recognizing that it supports dozens of insects, birds, and animals, all quietly interacting in a sophisticated and ancient dance. Even temperate and boreal forests have hidden wonders. Deciduous trees display dramatic seasonal changes, from delicate green buds in spring to vibrant autumn hues, and finally to quiet dormancy in winter. Coniferous forests, evergreen and resilient, endure harsh winters and acidic soils, creating a quiet, stoic beauty that can feel almost meditative. Across every forest type, life persists in astonishing variety and complexity, offering endless discoveries for those willing to observe carefully and quietly as you sink deeper into relaxation. Picture yourself surrounded by the gentle rustle of leaves, the quiet movements of small animals, and the subtle shifts of light through branches. Sense the resilience, patience, and interconnectedness of these living systems. And feel the calm energy that flows through every plant, tree, and root. Forests endure, silently sustaining life, preserving history, and inspiring wonder with their endless complexity. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, allow the quiet majesty of forests to envelop your thoughts, offering comfort, serenity, and the timeless rhythm of life on Earth. As you lie quietly, imagine the forest not just as a collection of trees, but as an intricate network of life, buzzing with subtle interactions and hidden wonders. Every plant, leaf, and root contributes to a vast ecosystem, often in ways we might not immediately notice. Think of the forest as a gentle symphony, each organism playing its part in harmony. A balance refined over thousands of years, quietly sustaining itself while supporting countless forms of life. Beneath the forest canopy, sunlight filters through leaves, casting shifting patterns on the moss-covered ground. This light nourishes a variety of understory plants, ferns, shrubs, and small trees that have adapted to thrive in partial shade. Many of these plants have developed fascinating survival strategies. Some have leaves designed to funnel rainwater directly to their roots. Others produce subtle chemical compounds to deter herbivores or attract pollinators, creating delicate, invisible networks of communication. Imagine observing these tiny adaptations, each one a testament to evolution's ingenuity. The soil itself is a living entity. Microorganisms, fungi, and decomposing plant matter create a fertile environment that sustains towering trees and delicate wildflowers alike. Mycorrhizal networks formed by symbiotic fungi connect the roots of multiple plants, allowing them to share nutrients and communicate warnings about environmental stress. It is as if the forest itself is a conscious entity, with underground pathways linking individual plants into a cohesive community. Feel the quiet pulse of life beneath your feet, supporting everything above. Rainforests are home to some of the most astonishing botanical phenomena. Giant leaves capture sunlight efficiently, while orchids cling to branches high above, their flowers evolving to attract very specific insects or birds for pollination. Bromeliads collect water in their cup-like structures, creating tiny aquatic ecosystems that sustain frogs, insects, and microorganisms. Imagine peering into one of these miniature worlds, seeing the intricate interactions that allow life to flourish in even the smallest spaces. Some forests reveal remarkable survival strategies in extreme conditions. Mangroves, growing along tidal coastlines, develop complex root systems that anchor them in shifting sand and protect against saltwater intrusion. Epiphytic plants, growing on trees without harming them, absorb moisture from the air, thriving high in the canopy where sunlight is plentiful. In cloud forests, mosses and ferns cling to every surface, nourished by constant mist, creating landscapes that seem almost otherworldly in their lushness and green intensity. Adaptation is everywhere in forests. Trees in temperate regions shed leaves during autumn to conserve energy through winter, while evergreens maintain their foliage to survive in nutrient-poor soils or harsh climates. Some plants have evolved thorny defenses to deter herbivores, while others emit fragrances or colors that attract pollinators or seed dispersers. The forest is a place where cooperation, competition, and resilience coexist seamlessly, where survival depends on intricate interactions among countless species. Rivers, streams, and ponds within forests create further layers of life. Aquatic plants filter water, provide shelter, and support animals ranging from fish to amphibians to insects. Fallen logs and branches create microhabitats, nourishing fungi and insects, which in turn feed larger animals. The forest floor becomes a dynamic, ever-changing landscape, full of cycles of growth, decay, and renewal. Every drop of water, every leaf, and every seed participates in this delicate balance, quietly sustaining the ecosystem. Rare and unusual plants often hide in the shadowed corners of forests. Carnivorous plants, like pitcher plants and sundews, have evolved to capture insects in nutrient-poor soils. Some orchids bloom only once a year and only in precise conditions, revealing an extraordinary patience and precision in their life cycles. Trees, such as the banyan, send aerial roots to the ground, creating complex, interconnected structures that seem almost architectural. Imagine walking among these unique adaptations, feeling a sense of wonder at the ingenuity of life as you lie quietly. Imagine the forest alive with gentle movement, leaves rustling softly in the wind, streams babbling over rocks, and birds flitting quietly among branches. Sense the quiet cooperation of organisms, the invisible exchanges of nutrients, and the unspoken communication of the forest. These systems have existed for millennia, continuously adapting, surviving, and thriving. A testament to the resilience and beauty of life on Earth. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, let the calm, steady energy of the forest guide your thoughts. Picture yourself immersed in a living tapestry of green, surrounded by ancient trees, delicate flowers, and hidden networks of life. Feel the quiet pulse of the forest beneath your feet, the gentle rustle of leaves above, and the enduring harmony that sustains this remarkable ecosystem. Allow yourself to rest in the serenity and wonder of these mysterious forests, enveloped in the timeless rhythm of nature. As you lie quietly, let your imagination drift into the heart of the forest, where hidden marvels unfold at every level. Some of the world's oldest and tallest trees stand as silent sentinels, their branches reaching skyward, their roots burrowing deep into the earth. Imagine a towering redwood, its trunk thick and textured, holding stories of centuries, each ring a silent record of time, climate, and survival. These ancient trees are not just passive witnesses, they actively shape their environment, providing shelter, food, and support for countless creatures. From insects to birds to mammals, the forest is a masterclass in interdependence. Consider the relationship between pollinators and plants without insects. Birds or bats, many flowering plants could not reproduce. In turn, these creatures rely on the plants for sustenance, creating a delicate cycle of life that is both intricate and resilient. Some plants have evolved highly specialized relationships, such as flowers that bloom only at night to attract specific moths, or those that release fragrance precisely when their pollinators are most active. This quiet choreography between plant and animal is ongoing, unseen, yet essential to the survival of both. Fungi, too, play an invisible but critical role. Beneath the forest floor, mycelium threads weave between roots, forming vast networks that distribute water and nutrients, sometimes over hundreds of meters. These networks connect multiple trees, allowing them to share resources, warn each other of disease, and even communicate chemically. Scientists have called these underground systems the forest internet, a hidden network that ensures the stability and health of the entire ecosystem. Imagine tracing these threads in your mind, sensing the quiet energy flowing beneath your feet. Rare and unusual plants continue to astonish. Some orchids exist only in single valleys or mountaintops, blooming briefly before retreating into dormancy. Carnivorous plants, like sundews or pitcher plants, have evolved to capture insects, supplementing nutrients in poor soils. Banyan trees send aerial roots downward, creating networks of trunks that form miniature forests within a forest. In cloud forests, epiphytes cling to branches, capturing water and nutrients from the mist-laden air. Each adaptation is a testament to life's ingenuity, a reminder that nature often thrives in ways that surprise and inspire us. The forest is also a landscape of longevity and patience. Bristlecone pines can live for thousands of years, enduring extreme climates, poor soils, and relentless winds. Their twisted, gnarled forms reflect survival in a harsh environment, a quiet resilience that is both humbling and inspiring. These ancient organisms remind us that life is persistent, adaptable, and capable of enduring far longer than any single human lifetime. Streams and rivers that meander through forests provide sustenance and connectivity. Fallen logs, rocks, and roots create microhabitats, nourishing aquatic plants, insects, and amphibians. The constant movement of water brings nutrients, shapes soil, and supports both terrestrial and aquatic life. Imagine following a crystal-clear stream, noticing the delicate balance of mosses, ferns, and tiny plants along its banks, all thriving in quiet interconnection. Each drop of water is part of a grand symphony of life, contributing to the health and stability of the forest. Even subtle seasonal changes reveal remarkable strategies. In temperate forests, trees shed leaves in autumn to conserve energy during winter, while evergreens retain needles to survive in harsh conditions. In tropical forests, some trees flower or fruit only during specific months, timed perfectly to the cycles of pollinators or rainfall. Every shift, every subtle adjustment demonstrates life's responsiveness to its environment, a quiet intelligence that guides survival without conscious thought. The forest floor, often overlooked, is alive with subtle activity. Decomposing leaves, fallen branches, and decaying logs provide nutrients for new growth. Insects and small animals forage, hunt, and reproduce, sustaining predators above them in the food chain. The interaction of these elements ensures that the forest remains vibrant, resilient, and self-sustaining. Even in the quietest moments, life pulses beneath the surface, a hidden energy that supports everything visible above. As you continue to rest, picture yourself walking slowly through this rich, interconnected forest. Feel the texture of moss under your feet, the cool shade from towering trees, and the gentle rustle of leaves stirred by a breeze. Sense the quiet communication among plants, the underground networks linking life, and the delicate balance maintained over centuries. Every leaf, root, and drop of water is part of a living, breathing system that nurtures and sustains the world. Tonight, as you drift further toward sleep, allow the forest's patience, resilience, and quiet ingenuity to guide your thoughts. Picture the interconnected web of life, from towering redwoods to tiny mosses, all coexisting in harmony. Let the calm rhythm of growth, decay, and renewal envelop your mind, bringing comfort, serenity, and a deep sense of connection with the natural world. The forests endure silently and endlessly, offering a timeless reminder of the beauty and complexity of life on Earth. As you rest quietly, let your thoughts wander deeper into the essence of the forest, beyond what can be seen or touched. Forests are not only collections of trees and plants, they are entire living systems, breathing organisms on a vast scale. When the wind flows through branches, it carries seeds, pollen, and moisture, dispersing life across great distances. Each gust is both a messenger and a lifeline, ensuring that new generations of plants and creatures will continue to thrive. Imagine that gentle wind brushing your face, carrying with it whispers of centuries of growth and renewal. Forests have always carried mystery. In ancient times, people believed forests were homes to spirits, guardians, or deities. Myths and legends grew from the deep silence and the strange sounds that echo between trunks at night. Even today, forests hold secrets we have not fully uncovered, species still undiscovered, medicinal plants with hidden properties, and complex interactions we are only beginning to understand. To wander in such a place is to step into a realm of quiet wonder, where every shadow might conceal something extraordinary. These mysteries are not only stories. They are also truths hidden in plain sight. For example, some plants release chemicals into the air that affect the growth of their neighbors, shaping who thrives and who fades. Others mimic the appearance or scent of entirely different species to trick pollinators. In tropical forests, certain vines can recognize the surfaces they climb, adjusting their growth to wrap more securely around trees. Each adaptation is like a secret, an ingenious solution etched into the DNA of plants over millions of years. Forests also influence the world far beyond their borders. Rainforests generate immense quantities of oxygen, recycle carbon dioxide, and regulate rainfall patterns across continents. The Amazon, often called the lungs of the earth, produces moisture that travels on winds and influences weather far away. A single forest, thousands of kilometers away, may help bring rain to fields, rivers, and cities. As you picture this, imagine vast green expanses, breathing slowly. Their rhythm guiding the balance of life, not just locally, but globally. The diversity of life within forests is unmatched. In a single square kilometer of rainforest, there may be more species of plants and insects than in entire countries elsewhere. Each organism plays a role, however small, in maintaining the stability of the whole. A beetle may help break down rotting wood, fungi may recycle nutrients, and birds may spread seeds across the canopy. This balance is delicate yet enduring. Like a grand orchestra in which every instrument matters, forests also shelter unique microclimates. Within the dense canopy, temperatures can remain cooler, humidity higher, and conditions more stable than in the surrounding land. These conditions allow rare species to flourish, plants that cannot survive in direct sunlight, animals that thrive only in shadow, mosses that demand constant moisture. Imagine stepping into such a world where the air feels thick and alive, carrying the scent of damp earth, the sound of dripping water, and the unseen heartbeat of countless creatures. Some forests seem eternal, but they too have life cycles. Fires sweep through woodlands, clearing old growth and making way for renewal. Storms may topple massive trees, creating openings for new plants to reach the light. Over decades and centuries, forests shift, adapt, and transform, yet always remain. This resilience is humbling, a reminder that change is part of the natural order, and that life often flourishes in cycles of loss and rebirth. The healing power of forests has been recognized by humans for centuries. Simply being surrounded by trees can slow heart rate, lower stress, and bring peace of mind. Modern science calls this forest bathing, but in truth, it is a timeless connection between people and nature. The quiet, the shade, the scent of pine or cedar all work together to restore balance to body and mind. Imagine yourself in this state, breathing slowly, feeling tension fade with each inhalation, replaced by calm and serenity. Even in sleep, the thought of forests can offer comfort. They remind us that life is vast and interconnected, that even the smallest seed or leaf contributes to a greater whole. The patience of trees, the silent work of fungi, the resilience of mosses all whisper lessons of endurance and harmony. As your body sinks deeper into rest, let these lessons surround you, carrying you into dreams that feel safe, expansive, and full of quiet beauty. Forests, with their mysteries and marvels, are among Earth's greatest treasures. They endure through centuries, offering shelter, balance, and inspiration. As you let go of the day and drift fully into sleep, imagine the steady rhythm of trees swaying gently, the unseen networks beneath your feet, and the quiet harmony of countless forms of life. The forest is eternal, and tonight, in your rest, you are part of that eternity too. As you continue to rest, allow your mind to drift into the mysteries that Earth still holds, secrets that lie just beneath the surface of our understanding. For all our science, technology, and exploration, there remain countless questions that whisper of wonder. The world you live on is not just a planet of facts and measurements, it is also a realm of mystery, a place where stories, myths, and unexplained phenomena remind us how much we have yet to learn. Think for a moment of the deep ocean, covering more than 70% of Earth's surface, yet largely unexplored. Scientists estimate that nearly 80% of the ocean remains unmapped and unseen. What might be hiding in those dark depths? Strange bioluminescent creatures glow silently, producing light without heat, illuminating waters where no sunlight penetrates. Entire mountain ranges lie beneath the sea, taller and longer than those on land, yet we know so little about them. These unseen worlds are reminders that Earth still holds realms that feel as distant as other planets. There are also mysteries etched into the ground we walk upon. Across continents, ancient structures stand with no complete explanations of how they were built. The Great Pyramids of Egypt, with their perfect alignments and colossal stones, raise questions about the methods used thousands of years ago. In Peru, the Nazca lines stretch across the desert floor. Massive shapes only visible from above, yet they were created long before flight. In England, Stonehenge still puzzles researchers. Its purpose, alignment, and transport of massive stones remain a subject of debate. These monuments are not just historical, they are mysteries carved into the Earth itself. Then, consider the phenomenon of Earth's magnetic field, a silent shield that protects life from solar radiation. While scientists understand its function, its changes remain curious. Over time, the magnetic poles shift, sometimes even reversing entirely. No one fully knows when the next reversal will occur, or how it might affect life on Earth. Even now, the magnetic field drifts and fluctuates, a reminder that the invisible forces shaping our world remain partly unknown. There are mysteries in sound as well. Across the globe, people have reported unexplained hums, deep vibrations that seem to come from nowhere. In some places, the so-called Tao's hum or sky trumpets have been heard, low, rumbling tones without clear origin. Scientists suggest natural explanations from geological activity to atmospheric conditions, but no answer has been final. To hear such a sound is to feel the strangeness of Earth itself. A quiet reminder that our world has voices beyond those we understand. The natural world holds more secrets than we can count. Certain animals navigate with uncanny precision, like sea turtles returning to the exact beach where they were born, or birds traveling thousands of miles along invisible routes. How they achieve such feats, guided by magnetic fields or instincts written in their biology, is still partly unknown. Plants to hold mysteries. Some release fragrances only at night, others appear to communicate through chemical signals. Even the forest you imagined earlier may hold secrets in its roots that science is only beginning to uncover. And then there are mysteries of disappearance. Ships and planes have vanished in regions like the Bermuda Triangle, sparking speculation for decades. While many of these events have explanation storms, mechanical failures, human error, the sheer volume of stories creates an air of intrigue. The unknown, the unexplained, and the enduring myths surrounding such places remind us that the Earth, despite centuries of exploration, still humbles us with its secrets. As you listen now, imagine yourself standing at the edge of one of these mysteries. Perhaps you are gazing at lines in the desert that stretch endlessly, or floating above the abyss of the deep sea. Perhaps you are simply lying beneath the night sky, wondering about the Earth's silent forces shaping the invisible shield above you. In each case, there is both wonder and comfort. Wonder that we live on such a mysterious planet, and comfort that these mysteries remind us there is always more to learn, always more to discover. Allow this thought to settle into your mind as you drift closer to sleep. Our world is not fully explained, not fully mapped, not fully understood. And that is part of its beauty. It means the Earth is alive with secrets, waiting quietly, patiently, for us to uncover them. Tonight, as you rest, you too are part of that great mystery, part of a living planet that still holds endless secrets in its oceans, lands, skies, and even its silence. As you drift deeper into rest, let us move gently into the final collection of mysteries that Earth still keeps close, like secrets whispered only to those who listen carefully. Not all mysteries are grand or dramatic. Some are quiet, subtle, hidden in the smallest corners of nature. Yet they carry the same sense of wonder. Think of the deep lakes scattered across the planet. Some are ancient, millions of years old, holding waters that have remained isolated for ages. In such lakes, unique life forms exist. found nowhere else on Earth. Lake Baikal in Siberia, for example, is the deepest and oldest freshwater lake in the world, holding more water than all the Great Lakes combined. Scientists continue to discover species within it, creatures adapted to a world of darkness and cold. What other forms of life may still hide in these secluded waters, unknown and unseen? Beneath the ground, Earth keeps yet more secrets. Subterranean rivers, hidden caverns, and networks of tunnels carved by water over eons stretch silently beneath our feet. In some places, explorers have stumbled upon entire underground forests, where ancient trees fossilized and preserved still stand, locked in stone for millions of years. To imagine such discoveries is to realize that the Earth we know above the surface is only a fraction of the whole. Below, a second shadowed world exists, patient and enduring. Then there are the unexplained events in Earth's atmosphere. Strange sounds, known as sky booms, have been reported in many parts of the world. Without warning, a deep, echoing boom shakes the air, leaving those who hear it puzzled. Some explanations point to shifting tectonic plates, others to atmospheric phenomena, but many remain unsolved. To hear the sky roar unexpectedly is to be reminded that the very air around us can hold mysteries of its own. Legends, to shape the mysteries of Earth. Throughout history, people have spoken of hidden places, cities of gold, secret kingdoms, lands that cannot be found on any map. The legend of El Dorado lured countless explorers into South America's jungles, while stories of Shambhala describe a hidden paradise in the Himalayas. Whether real or imagined, these legends endure, becoming part of the mystery itself. They remind us that human imagination is also part of the Earth's story, filling the unknown with visions of wonder. Even in the patterns of the land, mystery lingers. Strange geological formations rise from deserts and plains, towering stone pillars balanced impossibly on narrow bases, arches carved naturally into cliffs, or massive rocks that appear to move slowly across dry lake beds, leaving trails behind them. These sailing stones, found in places like Death Valley, glide across the ground without human touch. Scientists now believe a rare combination of ice, wind, and water makes them move. But to see their tracks stretched across the desert feels like walking into the evidence of a puzzle written by nature itself. The polar regions also hold mysteries locked away in ice. Antarctica, covered by miles of frozen layers, hides entire mountain ranges, valleys, and even lakes beneath its surface. Some of these lakes have been sealed off for millions of years, untouched by sunlight, holding the possibility of unique life forms. The shifting ice sheets sometimes release strange sounds or reveal ancient fossils, fragments of Earth's distant past preserved in silence. Standing on such a landscape, endless and white, one feels the weight of secrets still waiting in the cold. There are also mysteries of time itself within Earth's story. Fossils of plants and animals occasionally appear in places where they should not exist, raising questions about how continents and climates once connected. Petrified forests lie buried beneath deserts. Coral reefs rest high upon mountain peaks, and seashells have been found in the heart of vast plains. Each of these discoveries is a quiet reminder that the Earth is constantly changing, reshaping itself over ages beyond our comprehension. And yet, perhaps the greatest mystery is how all these elements, oceans, skies, lands, creatures work together in such delicate balance. How is it that life emerged here, on this small blue planet, out of countless possibilities in the universe? Why Earth, with its perfect mix of air, water, and warmth, became a cradle for life, remains one of the deepest mysteries of all. We may understand parts of the process, but the wonder itself remains untouched. It is a question not just of science, but of awe. As you breathe softly, let these mysteries flow through your thoughts like a gentle stream. Imagine yourself wandering through hidden caverns, gliding over polar ice, or standing beneath skies that hum with unseen energy. Feel the comfort of knowing that even in a world mapped and measured, there is always more to discover, always more to marvel at. Tonight, as you rest, you too are part of this mystery. Your heartbeat echoes the rhythm of Earth itself. Your breath flows like the tides. Your thoughts drift like clouds across the sky. You belong to a planet that is vast, ancient, and filled with secrets, some known, some still hidden, all part of the story of life. Let this awareness carry you into a peaceful sleep, where dreams are filled not with answers, but with wonder. As you rest more deeply, let your thoughts wander into the heart of the world's mysteries that continue to puzzle scientists, historians, and explorers alike. The Earth holds countless secrets, some buried in its soil, others whispered by its skies, and many hidden in plain sight. These mysteries are not always frightening. Many of them are simply fascinating, reminders of how much there is still to learn. Imagine the endless caves stretching beneath the surface of the planet. Some caves extend for hundreds of kilometers, with chambers so vast they could hold entire cities. Deep underground rivers flow through them, unseen by most human eyes, their waters carving paths through stone for millions of years. In some caverns, crystals grow to astonishing sizes, larger than a person, shimmering with quiet brilliance. How many of these hidden chambers remain undiscovered, sealed away from the surface world? They are Earth's silent cathedrals, formed not by human hands, but by time and water. Consider also the strange lights that have been reported in remote regions. In some valleys, glowing orbs appear without warning, hovering and vanishing without explanation. Known as Earthlights or will-o'-the-wisps, they have been documented for centuries. Some believe they are caused by gases rising from the ground, while others see them as something more mysterious. To stand in the darkness and watch a light flicker across the horizon with no clear source is to feel both awe and curiosity, a reminder that Earth itself sometimes glows with unexplainable beauty. There are also stories of strange places where gravity seems to act differently. Certain hills and roads appear to pull vehicles uphill, defying the ordinary laws of physics. Visitors pour water onto the ground and watch it flow in unexpected directions. Scientists suggest these are optical illusions, the landscape tricking the eye, but the effect remains uncanny. To experience such a place is to question for a moment the very laws that hold the world together. Mystery can also be found in the patterns etched into the earth by nature. Strange circular patches appear in African deserts, called fairy circles, where grass refuses to grow in perfect, repeating shapes. No explanation is fully agreed upon. Some theories point to insects, others to competition between plants for water. Yet these geometric clearings stretch for miles, precise and puzzling. To look upon them is to wonder how such order arises in the apparent chaos of nature. Even the skies above Earth carry secrets. For centuries, people have reported unusual shapes or lights in the heavens. While many can be explained as meteors, satellites, or weather phenomena, there remains a lingering sense of mystery in the night sky. The auroras themselves, with their shimmering ribbons of green and purple, were once thought to be spirits dancing across the heavens. Today, we know they are caused by particles from the sun colliding with Earth's atmosphere. Yet even with that knowledge, their beauty still feels otherworldly. Then there are mysteries written into human history. Ancient maps sometimes depict lands and coastlines long before they were supposedly discovered. Legends speak of lost continents like Atlantis or Lemuria, places that may never have existed but continue to inspire imaginations. What drove people to create such stories? Were they inspired by real lands now submerged beneath the seas? Or were they simply echoes of human longing for worlds beyond the horizon? These tales remind us that mystery is not just found in the physical world, but in the stories we carry across generations. Animals, too, offer unexplained wonders. Migrating whales follow routes thousands of kilometers long with remarkable precision. Yet how they navigate through such vastness is still only partly understood. Insects like bees can communicate the location of flowers through intricate dances, a language written in movement. Even elephants appear to sense distant storms or earthquakes before they occur, responding to vibrations and signals invisible to humans. The living creatures around us hold senses and abilities that stretch beyond our understanding, making Earth feel even more extraordinary as you breathe slowly. Think of how these mysteries create a sense of wonder. They remind us that even in a world mapped by satellites, there are still unknowns that science has not fully explained. The caves beneath our feet, the strange lights in the sky, the whispers of lost lands, all are gentle reminders that life is never fully solved, never fully measured. The Earth remains alive, full of hidden chambers, unexplained lights, and stories waiting quietly to be discovered. Let this sense of mystery soothe you, like a soft veil of curiosity wrapping around your thoughts. As your body sinks deeper into rest, imagine yourself gently drifting over deserts with their strange circles, gliding into caverns of shining crystals, or watching silent lights dance above a valley. Each mystery is a lullaby of the Earth, whispering not of fear, but of wonder. Tonight, you sleep cradled by a planet that still holds secrets, waiting patiently, endlessly, for discovery. When we think about Earth, it's easy to imagine it as a solitary world, a small sphere of blue and green floating silently in space. But the truth is that Earth has never been alone. From the very beginning, it has been part of a much larger cosmic family, a system of orbits, gravities, and energies that stretch far beyond what we can see with the naked eye. The Earth is connected not just to the Sun that gives it life, but also to the other planets, the distant stars, and even the galaxy itself. Each one of these elements leaves an imprint, a quiet influence that has shaped our planet in ways we are only beginning to understand. To see Earth in its proper context, we must place it within the grand stage of the cosmos, where every movement is part of a much larger dance. Imagine looking up at the night sky thousands of years ago, before cities filled the world with lights. The stars would have spread out across the heavens in unimaginable numbers. For ancient humans, the stars were not just decorations in the sky. They were maps, stories, and mysteries. They showed directions, guided travel, and inspired myths about gods and heroes. What those people could not know, however, is that the light they gazed at had often traveled for thousands, even millions of years to reach them. Each star was its own sun, burning in the far reaches of space, and some of them had planets circling around them, just as Earth circles our sun. 2. Know this is to realize that Earth is not unique in its cosmic journey, is one world among billions, but Earth has something special that makes it stand out. While the universe is vast, mostly dark and silent, Earth is vibrant, alive, and filled with movement. Its connection to the Sun is perhaps the most crucial element of all. The Sun's gravity holds Earth in orbit, keeping it at just the right distance, not too close to burn, not too far to freeze. The balance is so delicate that a small shift could have made life impossible. The warmth of the Sun's light, its cycles of radiation, and its powerful magnetic storms have shaped not only the climate of Earth, but also the very biology of life. Every breath we take, every tree that grows, every ocean current that moves, all are tied directly to the power of the star that anchors our system. Yet, Earth is not only connected to the Sun, its relationship with the Moon has been equally profound. The Moon, though small compared to the Earth, has shaped the rhythms of our planet in subtle but essential ways. It stabilizes Earth's tilt, preventing chaotic changes in climate that would have made survival difficult. It pulls on the oceans, creating tides that have influenced ecosystems and even the evolution of early life. To imagine Earth without the Moon is to imagine a very different planet, perhaps one where the path of life as we know it would never have begun. This silent partner in our sky has always been there, keeping balance, marking the passage of time, and inspiring wonder every night. Beyond the moon lies the rest of our solar system, a collection of worlds that remind us Earth is not an isolated miracle, but part of a family of planets, each with its own character and story. Jupiter, the giant, acts as a cosmic shield, its immense gravity pulling in asteroids and comets that might otherwise have collided with Earth. Without Jupiter, life might have been wiped out countless times before it had a chance to grow. Saturn, with its delicate rings, shows the artistry of nature at a scale too vast for us to fully grasp. Mars whispers of possibility with its valleys, canyons, and evidence of ancient water. Each planet is a reminder that Earth exists within a grand structure, and that its safety and survival are bound to the presence of these neighbors. But the cosmic context stretches even further. Our solar system itself orbits the center of the Milky Way galaxy, completing one great circle every 225 million years. That means that during the time of the dinosaurs, Earth was on the other side of the galaxy compared to where it is now. The galaxy is not a static backdrop, but a living, moving system, full of swirling stars, black holes, and clouds of gas where new suns are born. As the solar system journeys through this vast spiral, Earth is exposed to cosmic rays, gravitational waves, and encounters with other systems of stars. Some of these influences are invisible, subtle, almost unnoticeable, but they shape the history of our planet in profound ways. For instance, scientists believe that as the solar system moves through denser regions of the galaxy, Earth may experience increased cometary activity, as gravitational forces disturb the distant Oort cloud and send icy travelers hurtling inward. Over millions of years, these events may have delivered water to Earth or even triggered mass extinctions. In this sense, life on Earth has not only been shaped by the Sun and Moon, but also by the broader currents of the galaxy itself. We are not only inhabitants of Earth, but passengers in a much greater journey, moving silently through space, carried along by forces far beyond our control. And then there is the universe beyond the Milky Way. Our galaxy is only one among hundreds of billions. Each one contains billions of stars, each star with the potential for planets, and each planet with the possibility of conditions similar to Earth's. To think about this is both humbling and awe-inspiring. Earth, with all its richness and life, is only a single point in a universe that stretches farther than we can ever travel. Yet that does not make Earth less special. In fact, it highlights its uniqueness. Among the countless worlds, this is the one we know, the one that has given rise to life, to thought, to stories and dreams. It is a reminder that in the vast silence of space, Earth is a rare oasis, and we are fortunate to call it home as you rest and listen. Imagine Earth as it truly is, a fragile yet resilient world, connected by invisible threads to everything around it. It spins gently, warmed by its star, balanced by its moon, shielded by its planetary neighbors, and carried endlessly around the galaxy. It is never still, never alone. It is part of a cosmic story far greater than ourselves. And when you look up at the night sky, you're not just seeing stars, you are seeing the vast, intricate web that ties our small planet to the heart of the universe itself. The more we look outward into the universe, the more we realize that Earth is constantly shaped by forces we rarely consider. It is easy to think of the planet as a solid, unchanging sphere, but in reality, it is part of a dynamic system that extends far beyond its atmosphere. One of the most powerful influences comes from the Sun itself. Beyond the warmth and light that sustain life, the Sun constantly sends out streams of charged particles, what we call the solar wind. These invisible gusts race through space at hundreds of kilometers per second, colliding with Earth's magnetic field. Most of the time, the planet's shield deflects them, But sometimes, when the storms are strong, they slip through, painting the skies with glowing curtains of light we know as the auroras. These shimmering veils of green, purple, and red remind us that Earth is not just floating in silence, is interacting with the raw energy of space every day. Yet those same solar storms can also bring danger. In the past, massive bursts from the sun have disrupted power grids, disabled satellites, and interfered with communications. Imagine for a moment what it would feel like if a solar storm large enough to strike today caused the entire world's electricity to flicker out, leaving only the natural light of the stars and moon. Events like these remind us that Earth's position in space is not without risk. The balance that allows us to thrive can also be disturbed by the very forces that give us life. In a way, it is like walking a fine line sustained by energy, but always at the mercy of the cosmos, beyond the sun's storms. Earth's connection to the galaxy reveals itself in quieter, stranger ways. Cosmic rays, particles that come from far outside the solar system, rain down on our planet every second. They pass through the atmosphere, some even reaching deep into the ground, where they leave behind faint traces of their existence. For the most part, they are harmless. But their presence is a constant reminder that Earth is never cut off from the rest of the universe. Even as you sit in silence, perhaps drifting into rest, particles born in distant supernova explosions are passing through your body, whispering of events that happened millions of years ago in places unimaginably far away. To realize this is to feel connected to something vast, something timeless. The moon, too, plays a deeper role in Earth's cosmic story than we often imagine. Its gravity not only creates tides, but also locks Earth's rotation into a gentle rhythm. Without it, Earth might wobble like a spinning top, tipping drastically over time and throwing climates into chaos. Life as we know it might never have adapted to such instability. But because of the moon, Earth's seasons remain steady, creating the predictable cycles of growth and rest that have guided life for billions of years. The moon is also a silent record keeper. Its surface, scarred by countless impacts, holds a history of cosmic events that Earth's own active crust has erased. To look at the moon is to look at a diary of the solar system's violent past. A reminder that Earth, too, has been struck, shaped, and changed by forces beyond its control. One of the most fascinating aspects of Earth's cosmic connections lies in its hidden relationship with other planets. Jupiter, with its immense size, draws in countless comets and asteroids, acting as a protective giant. Many scientists believe that without Jupiter's gravity, Earth's would have faced far more catastrophic impacts, perhaps enough to prevent complex life from ever emerging. In this way, our survival owes itself not only to our own planet's conditions, but to the quiet watch of a distant gas giant. And yet, sometimes, asteroids and comets still make their way through. They have struck Earth many times before, leaving behind craters and altering history. The most famous was the impact that ended the reign of the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. That collision reshaped life's path, clearing the way for mammals to rise, and eventually for humans to exist. In a strange way, we are here because of an asteroid. Because of a single moment when cosmic chance rewrote the future of the Earth as Earth's journeys through the galaxy. It also encounters regions filled with cosmic dust and clouds of gas. These subtle regions can influence the amount of sunlight reaching the planet, altering climates over thousands of years. Some theories suggest that mass extinctions may have been linked to these journeys through denser parts of the galaxy. While we cannot feel this movement, the truth is that Earth is never still. At this very moment, it is traveling around the Sun at about 30 kilometers per second, while the solar system itself speeds around the galactic center at more than 800,000 kilometers per hour. Every second, every heartbeat, the planet carries us forward, spinning, orbiting, drifting endlessly through space. To think of Earth this way is both humbling and comforting. It means that our lives, our histories, even our dreams, are part of a journey that spans millions of years and stretches across unimaginable distances. The ground beneath us may feel steady, but it is actually part of a vessel sailing through the vast sea of stars. And while the universe can seem vast and uncaring, the delicate balance of these cosmic forces is the sun's warmth, the moon's pull, the shielding of Jupiter. The protective atmosphere has created a home for us, a place where life can thrive against the odds. We are, in every sense, children of the cosmos, born from its matter, shaped by its energies and carried by its movements. As you let these thoughts settle, you might imagine Earth as a glowing sphere surrounded by invisible threads of gravity, light and time that tie it to the sun, the moon, the planets, and the galaxy beyond. These threads form a web that stretches across the universe, connecting us to everything else. And while the stars above may seem impossibly far, their light has touched Earth for as long as it has existed. To look up at the night sky is to see the story of our cosmic family written in light across the heavens. And within that story, Earth is not an isolated dot, but a living part of a vast, interconnected whole. When we think of our place in the cosmos, it is natural to imagine ourselves as small, fragile beings adrift in a vast and silent universe. Yet the truth is that Earth is not isolated. It is woven into the fabric of everything around it. Every star we see in the night sky is a neighbor, a fellow traveler in the Milky Way, and even the dark, seemingly empty space between them is alive with invisible energy and particles constantly streaming through us. To lie back and imagine this is to realize that you are never truly separate to, are part of something larger, something infinite. One of the most fascinating connections Earth has to the cosmos is through stardust itself. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen you breathe, all were formed in the hearts of ancient stars. When those stars lived their lives and exploded in supernova, they scattered these elements across the galaxy, where they eventually gathered into clouds, planets, and, much later, into you. In this sense, every heartbeat carries the echo of a star that lived billions of years ago. You are, in a very real way, the universe becoming aware of itself. That knowledge is both humbling and deeply comforting because it means you belong to the stars as much as you belong to the Earth. The galaxy itself is a wonder beyond comprehension. Stretching over 100,000 light-years across, it holds hundreds of billions of stars. Some have their own planets, some burn alone in the darkness, and some are part of clusters bound together by gravity. Earth circling an ordinary star on the edge of a spiral arm is like a tiny leaf floating on a vast ocean. Yet even here, on this small dot, life flourishes, rich and complex, proving that greatness can exist in the most unassuming places. It is remarkable to think that, in all this immensity, Earth has carved out a niche where rivers flow, forests breathe, and minds can wonder about their own existence beyond the galaxy. The universe continues endlessly, filled with mysteries that stretch our imagination. There are billions of galaxies, each with its own stars, planets, and perhaps even its own forms of life. To gaze at the night sky and see a faint glow from a distant galaxy is to look across millions of years of history. To witness light that left its source long before humans even existed. This connection to the past is quiet, but profound. It means that every night sky is not just a view, but a time machine, carrying us back into cosmic history. But not all connections are so distant. Earth constantly feels the tug of cosmic forces. The gravity of the moon and planets subtly shifts our orbit, while the pull of the Milky Way center guides the entire solar system on its grand journey. Every star you see in the sky is also moving, racing through space. Yet the distances are so immense that they appear fixed, like eternal guardians above us. In truth, the night sky is always changing, always alive. Though the timescale of its motion is far longer than our lives, Another cosmic tie lies in the subtle rhythms of the universe. Rhythms that quietly echo in our world. The cycles of day and night, of seasons, of tides all are shaped by cosmic dance. Even human timekeeping, the idea of days, months, and years, is an expression of our bond with celestial bodies. When you look at a calendar, you are seeing the imprint of the cosmos woven into human culture. Our ancestors gazed at the stars not just for wonder, but for survival, using their patterns to guide planting, migration, and navigation. Even now, in the age of technology, we still set our lives to the rhythm of a planet circling a star. And while Earth appears small, it is also rare. Astronomers have searched the skies for decades, discovering thousands of planets beyond our solar system. But so far, none have shown signs of life like our own. This does not mean we are alone, but it does remind us how precious Earth truly is. It is a single oasis in a vast desert of space. A place where matter has come together not just to form rocks and water, but to form consciousness. When you close your eyes tonight, you are closing them as part of a miracle sustained by the balance of forces across the universe. Consider how fragile that balance is. Too close to the sun, and Earth would be scorched. Too far, and it would be frozen. Without the protection of the magnetic field, the atmosphere could be stripped away by solar winds. Without the moon, Earth's tilt might wander wildly, bringing chaos to climate. Every element, every relationship is necessary for the world we know to exist. To realize this is to feel awe for the harmony of the cosmos, a harmony so fine-tuned that it has allowed life to thrive here, on this single blue planet. As you breathe slowly, imagine yourself drifting upward, floating above Earth, watching as it spins quietly in the black sea of space. See the oceans glimmer, the clouds swirl, the continents stretch across its surface. Around it, the moon orbits faithfully, and further out, the planets trace their paths. Beyond them, the sun shines, and beyond even that, the stars form a great spiral, carrying us all together through the galaxy. You are part of this grand motion, carried along without effort, as the universe moves endlessly. And in that realization comes peace. The peace of knowing you are connected to everything, and that everything, in turn, is connected to you. As you sink deeper into rest, let your mind travel along the final threads of Earth's cosmic connections. Imagine the planet as a glowing jewel in an endless void, spinning quietly, its oceans reflecting distant starlight, its atmosphere shimmering with the invisible energy of the sun. Earth does not exist in isolation. It is part of an intricate web of forces, histories, and rhythms that stretch across the cosmos. To understand this is to see the planet not just as a home, but as a participant in a grand universal symphony, a dance that has been unfolding for billions of years. One of the most subtle yet profound cosmic influences comes from the vast web of gravity that binds the universe together. Every object, from the tiniest asteroid to the largest star cluster, exerts a pull, and Earth is subject to all of it. These gravitational tugs shape the orbit of our planet, its axial tilt, and even the behavior of the moon. Over millennia, they have guided the cycles of climate, the rise and fall of glaciers, and the patterns of life itself. When we consider gravity in this context, it becomes more than a force. It is a storyteller, quietly writing the history of Earth and its inhabitants as Earth's journeys through space. It also encounters regions filled with cosmic dust, clouds of gas, and remnants of ancient supernova. These particles, invisible to the naked eye, interact with the planet in ways we are only beginning to understand. Some may have seeded life with the basic chemicals needed for biological processes, while others subtly influence climate or atmospheric phenomena. Every speck of cosmic matter that touches Earth carries the history of stars that lived and died long before humans existed. In this way, the universe reaches down into our world, leaving marks both visible and unseen. and reminding us that nothing on Earth is entirely separate from the cosmos beyond matter and gravity. Earth is affected by cycles and rhythms that extend far into space. The Milky Way itself rotates, carrying the solar system along in a vast orbit around its center. Over hundreds of millions of years, Earth has passed through regions of higher star density, encounters with cosmic clouds, and periods of exposure to intense radiation. Each passage has left subtle traces on the planet's shaping evolution, influencing climate, and even possibly triggering extinction events. In a sense, life on Earth has always been tuned to the rhythms of the galaxy, dancing to a beat far slower and grander than any human calendar. Even the light we see from the stars is part of this connection. That gentle twinkle overhead is not just decoration. It is a record of distant events, of suns that may no longer exist, of galaxies forming and dying across the cosmic timeline. When you look up at the night sky, you are looking back in time, seeing light that has traveled for millions, sometimes billions, of years to reach your eyes. This realization can be comforting. It shows that the universe has a memory, that every point of light carries a story, and that Earth itself is part of that narrative. A storyteller and a listener all at once, perhaps the most extraordinary aspect of Earth's cosmic context is how perfectly life has adapted to it. From the tiniest microorganism to the tallest trees, every form of life is tuned to the planet's cycles of light, gravity, atmosphere, and magnetism. Even the human body follows rhythms dictated by the sun, moon, and Earth's rotation. Our circadian clocks, the rise and fall of hormones, our sleep cycles all are influenced by cosmic forces. When you rest now, you are literally syncing with the motion of the planet and the celestial bodies around it. Your sleep is a small echo of the orbit of Earth around the sun, of the moon's gentle pull, and of the galaxy's slow, majestic spin. The cosmos also reminds us of the fleeting and precious nature of life. Stars are born, live, and die on scales far longer than human history. Yet they leave behind elements, energy, and light that shape new worlds. Earth itself is ancient, yet it is a young planet compared to the universe. Its oceans, atmosphere, and life are part of a delicate balance that could be altered in an instant by cosmic events beyond our control. And yet, in this vast, indifferent universe, Earth has nurtured consciousness, curiosity, and the capacity for wonder. Every heartbeat, every breath, is a testament to this extraordinary chance. As you drift deeper into dreams, imagine Earth moving silently through the cosmic sea, carrying oceans, forests, mountains, and cities along paths charted by invisible forces. Picture the moon orbiting faithfully, Jupiter standing guard, the sun pouring energy into every living cell, and the galaxy spinning its endless spiral above. Feel the quiet strength of being part of a planet so finely tuned, so profoundly connected, and yet capable of sustaining such beauty and complexity. Know that as you sleep, you are part of this cosmic rhythm. Your body, your mind, and your dreams are linked to forces and cycles that stretch far beyond the horizon, far beyond the solar system, reaching into the very heart of the universe. Earth's journey continues, carrying you silently, effortlessly, as the stars watch from above. And in that awareness, there is calm. There is wonder. There is peace. Tonight, rest in the knowledge that Earth is not just a world, but a story written in matter, light, and motion, a story in which you, too, are a character, gently cradled by the universe as it moves endlessly through time and space. As you settle into a calm, restful state, let us take a gentle journey through the ways humans have understood and imagined the world around them. Every culture, from the earliest tribes to the most modern societies, has sought to explain the mysteries of Earth and the sky, of life and death, through stories, symbols, and rituals. Myths and legends are more than just entertainment. They are mirrors reflecting the hopes, fears, and wisdom of generations. To drift into these narratives is to feel the heartbeat of human imagination and the way it connects us to our planet. Consider the Earth itself, as seen through ancient eyes. For many civilizations, the land beneath our feet was not merely soil and stone, but a living entity. The Greeks spoke of Gaia, the personification of Earth, a mother nurturing all life. To them, mountains, rivers, and forests were not just features, they were expressions of a living, conscious world. Similarly, in many indigenous cultures, every rock, tree, and stream holds a spirit. And human life is intimately tied to these forces. When you rest and breathe slowly, imagine the land around you, imbued with quiet consciousness, gently watching over all living things. This perspective reminds us that Earth has always been more than a backdrop, has been a character, a guide, and a teacher. The seas, too, have long inspired awe and reverence. Oceans cover the majority of the planet, and their vastness and depth have made them a source of both fear and fascination. Ancient myths describe sea gods and spirits, guardians of hidden treasures and bringers of storms. From Poseidon in Greek mythology to Varuna in Hindu tradition, humanity has personified the power and mystery of water. These stories may have served as warnings, reminding sailors to respect the unpredictable nature of the seas, or as metaphors for the depths of the human mind, filled with hidden currents and unknown dangers. As you imagine these myths, picture the oceans as vast, rhythmic expanses, holding secrets both ancient and alive, whispering quietly beneath the waves. Mountains, too, have been more than geological features. They were often considered sacred, places where humans might connect with gods or the divine. The Himalayas, towering above the clouds, were seen as the home of gods and enlightened beings. In Norse mythology, mountains were the bones of giants, and in Japanese Shinto, they were dwellings for spirits called kami. Across cultures, elevation was equated with closeness to the heavens, with insight, power, or spiritual purity. As you lie back and breathe slowly, imagine yourself at the summit of a misty mountain, feeling the quiet presence of time and tradition pressing softly against your senses. Even the sky above has been a canvas for human imagination. Constellations were not random patterns of stars, but stories frozen in the heavens. Orion, the hunter; Cassiopeia, the queen. The Great Berriach was a myth, a lesson, or a memory, guiding travelers, marking seasons, and inspiring wonder. In ancient China, the stars were mapped meticulously, each cluster connected to emperors, seasons, and the balance of earthly forces. The night sky, like the deep ocean, was both a map and a mirror, reflecting human hopes, fears, and the desire to understand our place in the universe. Cultural rituals have also connected humans deeply to the rhythms of the earth. The turning of the seasons, the rise and fall of rivers, the cycles of planting and harvest all were celebrated, honored, and reflected in ceremonies. Festivals often marked solstices, equinoxes, or the first rains, acknowledging the unseen forces that sustain life. Imagine a quiet festival in a distant past, torches glowing, drums beating softly, voices rising in harmony with the wind. As people give thanks to the earth, sun, and moon. Even in our modern world, echoes of these rituals remain, reminding us of the continuity between human life and the planet itself. Many cultures also explored moral and philosophical questions through myths about nature. Stories of floods, fires, and storms often carried warnings about balance, responsibility, and respect for the natural world. Legends told of humans who ignored these forces, only to face consequences that were both physical and spiritual. To consider these tales is to feel a gentle hum of connection between ethics and environment, a sense that our actions are never separate from the earth and its systems. Even now, as we drift into sleep, these ancient lessons resonate subtly, urging respect for the world around us. Finally, human imagination has never been limited to our own world. Across cultures, myths describe hidden realms, underground cities, islands that appear and vanish, skies with multiple suns or moons. Some speak of Earth as a layered place with worlds above, below, and within, connected by secret passages or mystical bridges. These stories may seem fantastical, yet they express a profound curiosity about the unknown, a desire to explore the unseen and to honor the mysteries that science has only begun to reveal. To imagine these realms is to stretch the mind gently, allowing it to wander without fear. To see Earth not only as it is, but as it might be, filled with layers of meaning and wonder as you breathe slowly and evenly. Let these images and stories mingle with your thoughts. Imagine the land as conscious, the oceans as alive, the mountains as sacred, and the skies as a vast narrative of human imagination. Feel the soft threads that tie human culture to the earth, connecting us to generations long past, to traditions long held, and to myths that continue to inspire awe. In this way, the world becomes not just a place of matter, but a place of memory, spirit, and reflection, a living story, unfolding gently around you as you drift into rest. As you relax further, imagine the quiet ways in which myths and cultural stories have shaped the way humans see and interact with the earth. For centuries, people have turned to tales of gods, spirits, and enchanted landscapes to explain what they could not yet measure or fully understand. These stories were not only imaginative, they were practical, offering guidance for living harmoniously with the land, the rivers, and the skies. They reminded people that the world was alive, that it had patterns and moods, and that respecting those patterns was essential for survival. Even as you rest, these ancient whispers echo in the rhythms of your own life, in the awareness of cycles, of growth and decay, and of the delicate balance that sustains life. In many cultures, rivers were considered sacred, embodying spirits that brought both sustenance and danger. The Nile in Egypt, the Ganges in India, and the Yangtze in China were more than just sources of water. They were central to religious and cultural identity. These rivers were thought to carry divine energy, to cleanse, to heal, and to connect humanity with the eternal. In the quiet of the night, imagine the flowing currents of these waters, weaving through landscapes carrying the stories of countless generations, their movement echoing the subtle rhythms of the earth itself. They remind us that life is continuous, flowing, and always intertwined with natural forces beyond our control. Mountains, forests, and deserts also became central figures in myth. In some traditions, forests were home to spirits that could guide travelers or challenge them, teaching lessons about caution, respect, and courage. Deserts, with their harsh and seemingly barren landscapes, were often depicted as testing grounds for heroes, places where strength and wisdom were forged. Mountains, reaching into the clouds, were places of transcendence and revelation. To imagine these landscapes at night, bathed in moonlight, is to sense the quiet power of the natural world, a power that is neither threatening nor passive, but alive, patient, and eternal. Many myths also explored the relationship between humans and animals, reflecting an awareness of Earth's creatures as integral parts of life. Birds, often seen as messengers between worlds. Snakes, representing transformation or danger. Lions and wolves, embodying strength and cunning. These animals appeared in stories to teach, warn, or inspire. Even today, these symbols resonate, subtly guiding our perception of the natural world. As you drift further into rest, picture these animals moving across forests and plains, carrying wisdom in their silent eyes, reminding us of the interconnectedness of all living things. The sky has always held a special place in mythology, inspiring awe and shaping calendars, rituals, and navigation. Solar and lunar cycles, eclipses, comets, and meteors were interpreted as messages from the divine omens of change, or symbols of cosmic order. Ancient civilizations watched the skies carefully, noting the positions of stars and planets, using them to guide agriculture, religious ceremonies, and social organization. Imagine lying under a vast starlit sky, feeling the same sense of wonder that humans have felt for millennia. The understanding that the heavens are a mirror of our own aspirations and questions, reflecting both the mysteries of the universe and the mysteries within ourselves. In some traditions, the earth itself was seen as layered with hidden realms, beneath mountains, within deep caves, or under oceans. Cultures imagined places where spirits, ancestors, or magical beings resided. These realms were often accessible only to the worthy or the brave, and they offered lessons about humility, courage, and understanding. Picture these hidden spaces softly glowing with unseen light, echoing with whispers of long-lost stories, and filled with secrets that have never been fully revealed. Even as you rest, these ideas suggest that the earth is richer than it appears, full of invisible dimensions that extend beyond ordinary perception. Human culture has also long sought to explain natural disasters through myth. Earthquakes, volcanoes, storms, and floods were often attributed to the anger of gods or spirits, reminding humans of their vulnerability and the need for respect. While science now explains these events in terms of geology and meteorology, the myths preserve a deeper truth that humans are not separate from the forces of nature, but participants in them. As you let these ideas drift through your mind, imagine the subtle balance of Earth systems, the tension of tectonic plates, the movement of molten rock deep below the surface, and the power of storms forming in distant oceans, all part of the living, breathing planet that supports your life. Finally, consider the role of storytelling itself. Myths, legends, and cultural narratives are bridges between humanity and the world we inhabit. They encode practical knowledge, ethical guidance, and spiritual insight in ways that endure beyond generations. Even now, as you listen, these stories continue their work, connecting you to countless humans who have looked at Earth and wondered, asked questions, and imagined answers. To rest with these stories is to be part of a living chain, a chain of curiosity, reverence, and understanding that stretches across time and space as you breathe slowly. Feel the earth beneath you and the cosmos above. Imagine the rivers, mountains, forests, and skies filled with stories, wisdom, and spirits. Let the myths and cultural insights mingle with your own awareness, creating a sense of calm, belonging, and wonder. The Earth is not just a planet, it is a living tapestry of experience, imagination, and memory. And you, too, are a part of that tapestry, softly drifting within its timeless rhythm. As you sink further into relaxation, allow your mind to wander through the final layers of human understanding and imagination regarding Earth, across centuries and continents. Cultures have sought to make sense of their surroundings, not only through observation, but also through the stories they wove, connecting the tangible and the unseen. These narratives became a lens through which humans understood life, death, the elements, and the very ground beneath their feet. They offered guidance, solace, and inspiration, bridging the gap between the known and the mysterious. To consider them now, in a state of rest, is to step into a gentle meditation on the human spirit and its enduring bond with the planet. Many cultures viewed natural phenomena as messages from higher powers or cosmic forces. Thunderstorms were not random events. They were the voices of gods, reminders of their presence, or tests for those who dwelled on Earth. Volcanoes, with their terrifying eruptions, were both destructive and creative, shaping the land while inspiring reverence and caution. Even the changing seasons were interpreted as a rhythm set by divine beings, guiding planting, harvesting, and migration. As you lie quietly, imagine the slow turning of these cycles. The whisper of wind across forests, the gentle lapping of waves on distant shores, all forming a cosmic dialogue with humans, teaching them patience, observation, and respect. Mythologies also celebrated the hidden potential within the earth. Mountains were not only sacred, they were gateways, places where humans could encounter the divine or glimpse a higher truth. Forests could be enchanted, full of spirits or guardians, embodying the wisdom of the natural world. Caves were entrances to underworlds, holding the secrets of ancestors or the mysteries of creation. By envisioning these places, you can sense the subtle energies and narratives layered over the physical earth. The stories that humans have projected onto its landscapes to convey meaning, morality, and wonder. Water, as always, held a central place in cultural imagination. Rivers, lakes, and oceans were seen as sources of life, carriers of memory, and thresholds between worlds. In some myths, souls would travel along rivers after death, journeys reflecting transformation and renewal. In others, hidden underwater realms were home to spirits, guardians, or treasures that could not be reached without respect, courage, and patience. Let your imagination drift along these waters, feeling their gentle rhythm, their depth, and their quiet power. As they link human experience to the eternal movement of the planet, the animals that share Earth with us were often elevated to symbolic and spiritual roles. Birds represented freedom and vision, guiding souls or delivering messages between worlds. Wolves, lions, and other predators symbolized strength, courage, and the raw instincts of life. Even small creatures, like spiders or insects, carried lessons about patience, diligence, or the interconnectedness of all beings. As you rest, envision these animals moving gracefully across landscapes. Their presence a reminder that life is diverse, interdependent, and infused with lessons for those who observe closely. Stories also allowed humans to explore abstract concepts through tangible narratives. Myths encoded ideas about morality, the consequences of greed, the value of humility, and the cycles of life and death. They reflected a deep understanding that Earth and its processes are not to be taken for granted. Survival depends on harmony with natural rhythms, respect for the land, and acknowledgement of forces beyond immediate perception. In this quiet moment, consider how these lessons, passed down through centuries, continue to resonate, offering insight into how humans might live in balance with the world around them. Finally, consider the imaginative reach of human culture, how myths often stretch beyond the known, into realms that science may never fully describe. Tales of hidden cities beneath the mountains, mystical islands that appear and vanish, and skies with multiple moons or suns are expressions of curiosity and wonder. These stories are invitations to explore, to dream, and to honor the mystery inherent in Earth itself. Even now, as you drift towards sleep, these imaginative spaces encourage the mind to wander safely, to marvel at the unseen, and to find connection with the infinite possibilities that surround our planet. As you breathe slowly and evenly, let all these images and stories merge into a gentle awareness. Feel the Earth not only as a place of soil, water, and air, but as a living archive of human imagination, spirituality, and cultural memory. Every mountain, river, forest, and sky carries the imprint of countless generations, each seeking to understand their world, each leaving behind whispers of insight and wonder. You, too, are part of this continuum, a participant in the ongoing dialogue between humanity and Earth, resting in the quiet knowledge that the planet is alive not only in matter, but in meaning. In this awareness, there is calm. In this connection, there is belonging. And as you drift deeper into sleep, let the rich tapestry of myths, legends, and cultural stories settle around you, wrapping you in a soft embrace that bridges past, present, and future. Earth is both home and teacher, a living narrative in which you are gently, effortlessly, and beautifully included. As your journey through the wonders, mysteries, and stories of Earth comes to a close, take a moment to feel the quiet rhythm of the world around you, the planet beneath your feet, the air that surrounds you. the water that flows unseen, and the life that teems in every corner, all of these are part of a vast, intricate web, stretching across time and space. To pause and reflect on this is to enter a state of deep connection, where the boundaries between self and planet dissolve, and a gentle awareness of belonging emerges. Think of all the stories we have wandered through together, Earth's first years, sculpted by fire and ice, the miraculous formations of mountains and valleys, the delicate balance of oceans and rivers, the profound rhythms of the cosmos, and the rich tapestry of human culture and imagination. Each thread contributes to the story of the planet, a story that continues to unfold even as you listen, breathe, and rest. Every stone, every gust of wind, every glimmering star carries a history, a purpose, a quiet magic. And within that, you are a witness, a participant, and a part of the ongoing narrative of life on Earth. Consider the Earth not just as a backdrop for human life, but as a living, breathing entity. Its mountains rise with silent majesty, its forests whisper with ancient memory, its oceans pulse with invisible currents that shape climates and ecosystems, and its skies stretch into infinite depths. Even the smallest details, petals unfurling, raindrops falling, leaves drifting on the wind, are evidence of the subtle, intricate dance that sustains all life. This is a dance in which you are quietly involved, part of a rhythm that has existed long before humans walked the planet and will continue long after. Throughout history, humans have sought to understand their place within this vast system. Myths, rituals, and scientific discoveries have all been attempts to bridge the gap between curiosity and comprehension. From the stories of earth spirits and sky gods to the careful observation of celestial movements, humanity has always strived to find meaning, to weave understanding, and to recognize patterns in the seeming chaos. These efforts reveal a profound truth. We are not separate from the world, but intimately linked to it. Our lives flowing in tandem with the cycles of the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun, and echoing the rhythms of galaxies far beyond as you breathe slowly. Imagine yourself rising above the planet, looking down at the swirling blue oceans, the green forests, and the sprawling cities. Picture the Earth spinning gracefully in space, illuminated by the sun, shadowed by the moon, cradled within the Milky Way. See the faint shimmer of distant galaxies, each with their own worlds and possibilities. Feel the quiet hum of connection that links every atom of your being to this living planet, to its history, and to the vast cosmos in which it dwells. In this awareness, there is peace, a sense of harmony, and a deep, comforting belonging, even in the quietest moments of rest. The Earth continues its work, oceans flow, winds blow, seeds grow, and life persists in all its forms. Human activity, too, leaves an imprint, for better or worse, reminding us that we are stewards of this incredible planet. To rest now is to honor that connection, to acknowledge the gift of consciousness that allows you to witness, reflect, and participate in the ongoing story of Earth. Sleep becomes not just a retreat, but a continuation of the natural rhythms that sustain all living things. Aligning your own cycles with the cycles of the world around you, consider the lessons of the myths and cultures we explored. They remind us to respect the land, honor the water, listen to the winds, and observe the stars. They teach that every action, no matter how small, has consequences, and that harmony with the Earth is a source of strength and peace. Even as science reveals the mechanics of the universe, the wisdom of these stories persists, offering insight into the invisible threads that bind humans to the planet. In rest, allow these lessons to sink into your awareness, a gentle reminder that life is interconnected, delicate, and profoundly miraculous. Finally, feel gratitude for the journey you have taken. Gratitude for the planet that supports you, for the water and air that sustain you, for the life and consciousness that allow you to perceive, imagine, and wonder. Gratitude for the ancestors who told stories, for the explorers who charted lands and stars, and for the scientists who reveal the hidden rhythms of the Earth and cosmos. Your presence is part of this continuum, and your awareness, even in sleep, honors the intricate balance of life and the enduring beauty of the world as you drift fully into rest. Let the images, stories, and knowledge you have gathered tonight mingle with your dreams. Picture the Earth as a living tapestry of matter, energy, and consciousness, with every mountain, river, forest, and star contributing to its timeless rhythm. Imagine yourself cradled within this living system, part of a story that stretches across millennia, carried by the gentle pulse of the planet, soothed by the whisper of the cosmos, and embraced by the enduring magic of life itself. Tonight, sleep not as an individual, but as a participant in the vast, ongoing story of Earth. Rest in the knowledge that you are connected, that you are part of something immense and beautiful, and that the rhythms of the planet, the cycles of life, and the pulse of the cosmos continue gently, endlessly, and gracefully around you. With each breath, you are woven more deeply into the quiet miracle of existence, and as the world spins silently on its axis, as oceans flow and winds sigh, as stars twinkle in the infinite night, may your mind and body find peace, comfort, and renewal. Good night, traveler of Earth, dreamer among stars, rest now, and know that you are part of a story as vast and beautiful as the universe itself.